Alright everyone, we're just about time to get started on this stream. If you can hear me clearly, hit 1 in chat. If you can't hear me clearly, slam your head against the keyboard and hope for the best. But be sure to like the stream regardless. I half expect to see at least one person smash the keyboard and have a barrage of letters coming in, as per my instructions. Well, I'm glad that none of you guys are exercising, listening to me, my instructions. There we go, there's one person did it. That's two. There you go, there you go. We're going to get started very quickly and very shortly, but be sure to like the stream, and if you haven't already, be sure to get yourself a nice comfy beverage, a nice cozy snack, or any other libations you choose to indulge in on this evening. It's going to be quite the day. This end of June. We have some guests. We have some fun. We're going to get started in just a moment. I admit, I thought that song lasted longer. I was going to wait till the song ended, but I suppose the song is giving me a rush out the door already. So, let's get started. Hello and welcome to another one of these streams. I'm sure based on the background you can tell what the theme of tonight's episode will be. Video? Stream? Who knows what they're called anymore. What the terminology is. It's all flexible. Welcome once again to another one of these streams. I guess there's no time to delay it anymore. Let's just get guests in. Undeafen. Alright. I've undeafened myself on the Discord call. Mind introducing yourselves in either order?
Fuck it, I'll go first. Okay. Hey, hi. I'm Chloe. You probably already know me by now. Been doing this for about 2 years, I think, at this point, because we started doing these 2024. Yeah. I keep being thrown into the mix when it comes to Noralities. This is like what a way to bookend this. I was on stream with Ant at the beginning of the month. Now you got me at the end of the month.
There's nothing important happens on June anyway, so I'm sure it's not at all relevant to the theming of the month at all.
That the trans femme that was doing a lot of these videos with you and stuff is back again for a second time?
Exactly. And who are you again, Lizzie?
You asked me that, but you said my name, so you know who I am at this point.
Tragically, I am bad at surprises and pretending I don't know something.
I'm Lizzie. I join in on these streams as occasion. I have no idea who this person whose video we're watching is. Also, my avatar, I've noticed, once again on the stream, my avatar is huge compared to both of yours. I am towering, like I am big, so...
Yes. We see also, in fairness... No, there's no excuse for that. You have a huge avatar. I am seeing some discussion in chat saying, why y'all grifting on Noralities? We're not. We're not grifting on Noralities. It's quite the opposite, actually. Noralities...
We fucking love Noralities around here.
Noralities is great.
We are not hating on Noralities at all. I feel like if anybody is on here trying to stir the pot on us hating Noralities, they do not get what we're doing here, because we stand Noralities in these parts.
Yeah, no, this is actually quite the opposite of what we're talking about. But actually, there will be discussions about modern media criticism, because this weekend has proven that modern media discourse is a mess, to put it bluntly. To really put it bluntly, Jesus Christ. You remember back in the day when you could like a movie or dislike a movie and have a civil conversation about it?
Damn, those were the days.
That was crazy. I was watching old clips from Siskel and Ebert. I forget if it was for a stream or if it was for just for fun. And Jesus, it's wild how in those old reviews you'd have these two people who go at each other's throats over a movie, but then they'd just stop getting angry about it when they stopped talking about the film and just moved on with their lives. Can you imagine that? Not having discourse about film define your existence?
Oh, those were the
crazy.
days. Those were the fucking days.
Jesus Christ,
The
yeah.
good old days.
Back in my day, we used to watch movies for fun, actually. And enjoy
We used
them.
to watch
Nowadays, you
movies.
just go to the cinema to fucking shit all over it.
Got a super chat right here.
At Balthazar 228 super chatted $4.99. What? Are you telling me CBS and soon CNN suffer from Weiss nationalism?
Yes, actually, that is what we're
Weiss
implying.
nationalism. I love that.
Weiss nationalism. I love that. I'm honestly would not be shocked if Barry Weiss did not have a job though within the next couple of years. At least not with CBS, because I feel like she is bleeding staff, and if the Ellisons like anything, it's money, you know, and having programming enough to pay money to put on, because CBS's ratings are plummeting, to put it mildly.
What? You mean when they do grossly unpopular things like cancel Stephen Colbert when he's done nothing wrong, and then just do all this other stuff like the 60 Minutes thing, that you're gonna bleed viewership? Color
Right.
me surprised!
But not just the time block that Colbert was on, the entire station. People have just stopped
Jesus.
watching the entire station, period. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, his show is gone, now people don't tune in. No, they've just stopped watching CBS. Like,
Yeah,
at all
it's like a
hours.
boycott.
Like, what is even the, like, okay, so even ignoring the boycott, like, what is even worth watching on CBS nowadays? Like, I'm trying to think.
Oh, well,
and
there's
I'm like,
60 Minutes. Oh, wait, that was gutted. Sorry.
right. I mean, the only thing I ever watched on CBS was Survivor, and I can't even remember when was the last time I watched it. So,
Yeah, and I think that's syndicated now, I think, right? Is that on multiple stations?
are they making? I don't even know if they're making new Are they like?
They're
Is it
definitely
syndicated?
making- It's definitely
Okay.
They
still
are, in
ongoing.
fact, making new episodes of it.
Oh, right. Aren't they making like an animated movie based on it or something for some
Are they?
fucking reason? Yeah, I think so.
I'm looking this up. I gotta know for sure. That's too...
Like, it sounds stupid, but it's totally happening, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Paramount.
Wild.
Okay, so Paramount announced this just a couple days ago. Yeah, you are correct. This is...
Okay, I thought this
is
was like,
happening.
because I read about this. So I read about this while I was stoned. So I couldn't remember if that was like a legit thing I remember or just something my CBD-addled brain just conjured up.
No, that was not a hallucination. That was a real thing.
Okay.
And Jeff is producing it. Paramount Animation partnering with CBS.
What the
A
fuck?
remote and mystical... So, hang on. Let me read the official synopsis for you. Set on a remote and mystical island, animals from all around the globe compete for a once-in-a-lifetime chance to be crowned the sole survivor. So it's not even about people doing Survivor. It's just animals.
I was gonna say that. What? Did I get fired from this show?
What?
I don't even know.
Made by the guys who brought you Paw Patrol.
Oh, that makes it all worth it.
What?
So the guys who brought you Paw Patrol are bringing you Survivor, the animated movie.
And a lot of people are pointing out in the chat that this is just Total Drama Island, and they're correct. So.
Except
It
with
really
animals.
is. They canceled Total Drama for this?
Oh, they canceled Total Drama Island for this, but they're definitely making this is a Ellison decision all over, I think. Oh, super chat coming in. Good.
At Nick Wolf 3885 super chatted $5. And any YouTubers and or writers you still trust? It's starting to feel like the bad old days of the mid-2010s, where you can't trust anyone online.
I mean, like, I think that's a bit of a stretch. There's a lot of people who are good people on the internet. But the problem is when you submerge yourself in the controversial side of it, it gets a lot trickier. I know a lot of people in the community are still pissed about Noah, which I still am pissed about Noah as well. But there's tons of people out there who are very trustworthy. So I wouldn't let that ruin your faith in people. That being said, though, Jesse Gender has never been untrustworthy ever. So you got that, I think. Shout out to Jesse Gender. She's sometimes in chat, so.
Shout out fucking Jesse Gender. We love her.
She's so cool. Anyway, so don't let recent events ruin your trust in people. There's a lot of people out there to trust. Oh, this is the I hate everything music, isn't it?
It is.
Realize that. Okay.
And this is, I was gonna say, it's like I didn't know I was going on a stream for that channel.
Oh God, it's funny because like the first song that played when the stream started, I correlate that to Jobby the Hong, which is funny because he voices Vanishing Man in TADC.
At Cartoon 49,
I voiced
chatted
it.
$2.
I voiced in something with
Thoughts
him
on
years
the right
ago.
pushing movable new movie?
Okay, thoughts on the right pushing Uwe Boll's new movie. Have you heard about this one, by the way, before we get started with it?
Yes, I have unfortunately heard that apparently people like the right is so desperate to push for non-woke films that they're now standing an Uwe Boll film. We live in dark times.
Yes, a Uwe Boll film starring Armie Hammer called Citizen Vigilante. I was considering working on a video for this, but then I realized that the topic bored me too much. I had nothing to actually add because the movie sucks. By the way, thank you for 17 months, Nick Wolf. Number one currently on this stream, untrustworthy. Oh God.
No one currently on this stream.
No one on the stream is that's right, I can read. And no one currently on this stream is untrustworthy. That's good to know. I appreciate that.
Yay.
Yes, good. You both passed the test.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it is good to know. That is good. But yeah, no, so Uwe Boll has a new film. It is a Death Wish knockoff. It is bad.
At King Cyrus the
Again,
Great
Death Wish was bad back in
3887
72,
super chatted $2. James Gunn DCU is doomed. He is fired. Source me.
Yeah. That's been like most videos I've seen online. The DCU is over after two movies.
Like one good movie and one movie that, from what I'm hearing, people are pretty mixed on. Though most of my friends who've seen it say it's good, so I'm willing to trust them on that.
Look, I'll be honest with this: it's better than most of Phase 1 for Marvel. Like in terms of quality. Like I did make a video criticizing elements of the movie, like specifically the world building, which is a flaw of the film. But, like, it's still fun enough. Like, it's better than a lot of Marvel movies recently, and we're still going to see those for the most part. Those are still having an audience, and Spider-Man looks like it's going to be, like, a record breaker.
I was going to say, Spider-Man's, like, the one recent Marvel movie that actually looks kind of fun, so I will probably see it, despite...
And again, Spider-Man and fun go hand in hand.
Okay, look, Thunderbolts did not look good. It was surprisingly good, but those trailers were not very good. So
that's the problem with a lot of these superhero trailers now. Like, okay, so here's the thing, and this is something that bugs me a lot. One other thing I will say about the Supergirl movie is that the visuals should have taken more from the comics. The comic Woman of Tomorrow, despite my many problems with Tom King, and they are many, the artwork from that book is beautiful. Like, if they took those visuals and put those visuals into the film, butts and seats. Like, there's so much color. It's vibrant. It's vivid. I think if it wasn't, like, gray and, like, murky looking, it would have been a lot better. Because...
That's kind of been...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's basically it.
I was going to say, that's kind of been my problem with a lot of big studio movies, is that it feels like color grading is optional at this point. It's funny, because I remember I watched the trailer for that new Hunger Games movie, and the thing that stuck out to me is, holy shit, a big franchise IP film with color. This is amazing.
Well, yeah,
it's absolutely the best, actually. God.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy when, like, friggin' Roger, you think it's a grid like a Robert Eggers film, right? It's color graded like a Robert Eggers film where it's supposed to be murky and gray. But those films are shot with that in mind. Whereas, like, if you watch Nosferatu, you're not expecting it to be super colorful. You shouldn't have
it
the
depends on the film.
Exactly. And also, werewolf.
But I just find it funny that a YA dystopia film from a franchise that, while still popular, isn't even near the peak that it once was, somehow has better color grading than most big movies I'm seeing coming out. So
the thing is, it has color grading.
Wild.
That's That's the big thing. It has color grading at all. That's the thing.
Right.
It feels like everything else is like deliberately murky because it doesn't have to like have a visual distinction. And that's one thing about Superman that was so good. It was so colorful and vivid,
it was.
right. And it's like Supergirl doesn't have that same color quality to it. And it's kind of like, well, why is that?
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Hell, even Clayface looks more colorful.
Oh, I'm excited for Clayface.
I'm excited for Clayface. That's the thing when everyone's saying like, "Oh, DC's over," like, yeah, but you're all coming back for Clayface. Like, you are all
I was gonna say
that.
I was gonna say like, Clayface horror movie. That's bound to at least even worst case scenario. That's bound to at least be interesting.
Yeah, and I think it will offset whatever loss Supergirl might have financially because it is so cheap that even if it grossed the same thing Supergirl's grossing right now, that's already making its budget back. You know what I mean? It's one of those where I think, okay, this might be what we need to see. Personally, I think I'm more excited, but I was always more excited for Clayface and Supergirl, if I'm being honest with you, because it just seems like my kind of film, you know? Body horror and gritty and gross. I love that stuff. Ooh, wait, here we go. Right. Chat?
At J Wang makes super chatted $2. I've seen very colorful movies made for adults. Why?
Yeah. There are many colorful movies made for adults. Look at what do you call it? Oh, good example of that. Look at freaking John Wick or Atomic Blonde. Those were like a few older action films that had a lot of distinct colors. But then, okay, so Lizzie, here's one thing you have to realize too. The chuds are scared of color now.
Oh, of course they are.
You know who Smash JT is?
No.
So Smash JT, he is the YouTuber who is basically like he's the one who did the Alyssa McConte lawsuit. Are you familiar with that lawsuit at all?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay, well he's a chud. He's mad that the Halo remake has
at
color in the
Cyanide Studios 1729 super chatted $1.
Oh, that guy.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Leviticus?
Have we seen Leviticus? I have not seen Leviticus yet, but I want to.
I have not.
It is on my list because I love the people who worked on it. I really love Talk to Me. I need to watch Bring Her Back, but Leviticus is on my list because it looks like some toxic yaoi bullshit.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I will be right back. I got some Baja Blast delivered so that I can get caffeinated for this stream.
Hell yeah. We'll get started with everything more formally when you get back, though. So we'll get into the swing of things when that happens.
I'll be right back.
But yeah, so I'm going to bring over Noralities tab over here. And by the way, Noralities is very well liked here. We like Noralities, so we're not trying to...
Yeah, let's get this out of the way real quick. No matter what we say on this, no matter what the title may suggest, we're not fucking dunking on Noralities here.
At Olivia _Williams _purple _fairy super chatted $4.93. I'd say a lot of old Arnold Actions movies were colorful.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. There are a lot of colorful Arnold movies. There's some color. I think Predator has some really vivid color to it, I think. Predator, I think Commando is pretty colorful at times. And of course, Total Recall.
I am back.
Awesome. So, Lizzie, question for you. What do you think was the better Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Kindergarten Cop, Twins, or Junior?
Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, it's the best one of those three. I do like Twins, though. That's some good moments. Anyway, Noralities. So, Noralities is... as a YouTuber, she has not published anything in about a year. Before that, she was on a long hiatus. She is a very controversial creator. As you can see, her videos got a lot of views very quickly, especially when you go back to the beginning of them. She only has a few videos, but which one really kicked it off? Oh yeah, this one right here, where she criticized isekai, and then this happened.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Put the cursor away from the video and...
Yep. I'll move away from that.
I was going to say, give Chloe the video she's been waiting for.
I know.
I have you have literally been teasing me with going from magical girls being gay for a year.
I have been teasing that one, yeah. So we're going to at least discuss at least one Noralities video today and discuss whether or not this kind of criticism is a breath of fresh air in this obscenely myopic, extreme reaction era of YouTube criticism.
So, like, does she just have takes that aren't good, or are they just takes that upset chuds, or what are we looking at here?
Okay, so it's a little bit of a mix of column A and column B, depending on what part of her YouTube career we're talking about.
Okay.
Earlier on, I wouldn't say her takes were bad, but I would say they were not super well structured. Very early on, her points were very generalized, but as she progressed as a creator, she got better at that. But she still had the same level of haters going after her. When I first started on YouTube, I was compared to her by certain chuds. There is one screen grab. I'm going to see if I can find it. 1 second. There's one YouTube video. The thumbnail I'll show you because I don't think the video itself has the screenshot. You'll see what I'm talking about. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Anthony Gamolia. It was the Smudcast when they reacted to me. I think it was. Yeah, of course, now Smudcast is all dominant. Wow, that's funny. So now it's actually been buried by... Okay, 1 sec. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Cool. Yeah, here we go. This is what I was looking for right here. They were posting... They were like trying to draw like bizarre connections.
Their cousin.
Which is not at all the case. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
We're talking like pure conspiracy bullshit.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. People online are so weird.
Now,
I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have no idea how that goes, Lizzie.
It's so weird.
Not at all. Not even a little.
Yeah. So people online got very upset with Noralities. Actually, what's funny is Noralities, I know, has seen at least one of my videos. I know that, which is cool. I briefly talked to her in the comment section of one of her videos. I was like, that's cool. But other than that, I've never talked to her. That's one guest I'd love to have on here on stream at some point. But anyway, PNGs look alike. Yeah, that's true. They do look very similar. Congrats on the new cousin.
Jesus
Christ.
Shit,
new cousin dropped.
I have like so many. Listen, if you're Italian, you have a lot of cousins, so it wouldn't even shock me at this point.
I'm not even Italian, and I have a lot lot of cousins. So
there you go. So we're going to at least watch one of these. I would prefer to watch at least two, but we'll see if we have time. We're going to discuss.
How much we talk?
Oh, we yap a lot. We yap a lot.
Yeah. Don't worry, Coxgun. I'm going to keep these two on track.
Exactly. And what we're going to be doing is primarily asking the question, is anything she's actually saying all that controversial? And is it, in fact, kind of what we want to see more of in criticism? Like this kind of discussion in the present day? Because if
you brought me in,
what?
I was going to say, you brought me in to listen to some weird takes from different people. So I don't know if, like, this will be interesting.
Yeah, listen to good takes on stream. Can you imagine that?
Finally, you brought me in. You brought me in with some decent criticism, hopefully.
Right?
$2. Aunt Nora Linkara. Who else is in the family tree?
Wait, I'm related to Linkara now, too? I've told Linkara that.
Hang makes super chatted $2. Noralities on her live stream is my dream come true.
That would be fun. That'd be very fun. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Starson's right.
Listen.
Even when they don't agree, it's like there's only so much you can get mad about with Noralities.
Listen, I'm just going to say this because apparently I have the power of manifestation. If you, me, and Noralities were all on stream together by accident, I think I might die on the spot.
Hell yeah. I'm going to joke. There was the one stream that you wanted to come on but couldn't at the last second where another guest showed up at the last
Yeah, it was Lady Emily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. That was fun.
Yeah, who has more than once shown up randomly on stream. So I'm not even ruling out she might just pop up randomly today.
Someone on the chat mentioned it's like, I don't agree with Noralities, but the hate they received was insane. Mm-hmm. That's the weird thing about chuds is like if you have a take, people, and I'm unfortunately saying all this from experience, if you have a take people disagree with, even if it's something not worth like causing shit over, mm-hmm. they'll like you become like the main character of social media that day, and it's insane. Like
Oh yeah, from experience, I can tell you that. And it's also really funny because you don't even have to make a bad take. Like sometimes I'll be on the Reddits, and because I've done research on the Reddits, because sometimes I'll go on Reddit to look for like bad takes to respond to or incorporate into my discussion. I get notified whenever like the big chuddy media subreddits post about me, and I'll look at it and go like, I heard Anthony said this, and he said this too, and I'm like, when did I say that? I don't remember saying that. So like, even if you're not saying anything, sometimes they'll just make shit up, and I'm like, there's no point responding to this. It's just really stupid, but it is quite funny how like I've become their boogeyman in a sense. If you have the bad takes, good takes. Who knows?
I'm just gonna be real, Ed. When you said the Reddits, your age, you're like my mental age if you just went up by 10 years.
Oh, I went on the Reddits the other day. I surfed the Reddits the other day, and I found the bulletin board up there.
And you're making it so much worse.
I went on the Usenet before, and I searched the World Wide Web for an email on the American Online Association on my Comcast email. Okay, I'll stop.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Anytime
Let me go back a second. We got a dose of lesbian there. Hope you don't mind.
Lesbian flashbang.
Okay. I was gonna say dose of lesbian, and you brought me onto the stream.
Nice.
Okay, pausing super chats. Okay, now of course, definitely be sure to leave super chats as we're watching. I can always use the money. My baby is now consuming more diapers than I am comfortable admitting. However, I'm going to pause them for key moments to talk about them all at once. So, if you have a super chat, it sometimes helps if it's not super time responding to what we're saying in the moment because we don't want to get to it. But we'll try to respond to everything in fair time. Anyway, with that being said, the first video we're going to talk about is the one that Chloe has been begging me to talk about. And every time we try doing it, we get cut off before we start. Why are magical girls so gay?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. We have an answer. Oh, and by the way, in case you don't know, before we get started, I do want to point out we have a birthday to discuss. We have a birthday today. Very special birthday considering the video that we're going to be talking about. Let me get the Reddit's has the picture too. Excellent. Here we go. Open up the image. It's too small. Point is, let me find an actual. That's Instagram. I don't want to do that. Here we go. Perfect. It is June 30th. So everyone in chat say happy birthday to Sailor Moon.
Happy birthday, Usagi Tsukino.
Happy birthday to our glorious moon princess.
Yes. And it is fitting that her birthday would be at the end of June, considering that she is one of the most bisexual characters in all of anime. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, let's, speaking of which, let's get started.
The magical girl genre was one of those things that, when I was a kid, I just sort of accepted as having always been a thing, because from my perspective, it was. By the time I was old enough to process it, anime was already being imported to America and easily accessible via cable TV on channels like the Kids WB and Cartoon Network. And anime like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptors, and Mew Mew Power were airing right alongside cartoons like Powerpuff Girls, Winx, and Totally Spies. And although these versions were heavily edited and censored, it wasn't long before the internet made fan-subbed anime easily accessible, and we were able to watch these stories as they had been originally intended to be told.
Actually, fun fact, when I was a kid, I wasn't quite old enough to have figured out how to navigate the internet and find these fan-subbed episodes myself. But somehow, my dad got a hold of entire seasons of these.
This stream is not going to be monetized for very long with that music
No,
playing.
I was gonna
the
say with Moonlight Densetsu playing. I'm so sorry, Ann.
It's all good.
That
It happens.
crunchy ass Moonlight Densetsu, it's bringing me back, baby.
That's fair. It's fair. It's all good. The Supergirl video got demonetized too because Warner Brothers needs like the money that video gets.
Jesus Christ.
It's one of my shorter videos, so it's not going to bring as much revenue anyway. Like the longer ones are the ones that earn more money, but still, it's like really that's the one you wanna. I wonder if like guys like Drinker got their videos demonetized too because they used more clips than I did.
Also, I gotta say, we're only like a minute in, and I'm not annoyed. This is new for this shit. This is new for one of Ant's streams.
Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it great?
Oh my god. I'm not annoyed.
It changes the way you see the world, doesn't it, Lizzie?
My god.
Imagine coming onto one of these streams and not wanting to pop a blood vessel.
I know. It's like I torture you on purpose for the fun of it anyway, but other times.
I was gonna say, Ant, now when you bring me on for another cringe take video, I'm gonna be extra furious.
I know. It's by choice I submerge myself in pain. Anyway, also, gonna say this right now, maybe a hot take. I always felt Wings Club was very much like, was more ingrained with Magical Girl stuff than like Powerpuff Girls or Totally Spies.
I don't think that's necessarily a hot take.
To be honest, I don't think of Magical Girl when I think of Powerpuff Girls or Totally Spies.
Yeah, when I think of
them
Totally Spies, I
as,
think of very different things.
I was gonna say
Powerpuff Girls is more superhero genre, and is just general espionage. I do not think of them as Magical Girl all that much.
I think the reason Powerpuff Girls gets lumped in with Magical Girl is because, if I'm not mistaken, there was an anime spinoff of Powerpuff Girls that was Magical Girl. So
yes, Powerpuff Girls Z, but like that's an entirely different thing.
Right. But I'm just saying maybe it's just like as a result of this thing existing, people just naturally associate Powerpuff Girls with Magical Girl. So
and Totally Spies is its own weird cornucopia of tropes. A lot of spy tropes, but I mean, it's also a lot of other
stuff as well.
I was gonna say, I classify it more as a lot of the director's poorly disguised fetish.
God, yeah. I've had people argue it's not that weird. I'm like, it kind of is, though.
It is.
It is.
But in a fun
really
way.
Is.
It's fine.
Like, it's still fun, but it is.
But you have to admit, a few... Like, you know someone on staff was very into hypnosis, very into people being tied up, and very into weird transformations. Like, you can't argue those three facts. That's, like, hard to deny.
Yeah.
Honestly, you want one that would actually properly fit with Magical Girl stuff alongside Wings Club, Witch. That's the more obvious one to go for.
Yeah, Witch, definitely. You ever see the live action Witch series?
No, you're thinking of the live action Wings Club.
Oh, that's Wings Club? Oh, okay. I got it mixed up. Okay,
yeah. That's it's Fate, a Winx saga.
God, it's so weird. Such a weird thing.
Anyway,
back to this.
Fan subbed episodes of Sailor Moon that were burned onto like a handwritten CD, which I would watch in our home computer room after school.
Yes.
And I loved it, and I watched them religiously. But this is legit what they looked and sounded like. It was dark times to be an anime fan, my dude.
So nostalgic.
But because of these fan subs, I had access to the story in all its uncensored, bit-crushed glory a lot earlier than most people. Which made me realize Magical Girls are super fucking gay. And while I'm process of doing several of these deep dive Magical Girl videos, I've realized I've never asked myself, why are they so gay?
I've been starting.
What is it exactly about?
So.
Oh, you started Utena? Oh, yeah, no. So Noralities loves Utena. There's a few videos about Utena on this channel.
Mean, after seeing the movie and watching the first few episodes, I'm already loving Utena. So
it's so good.
Yay.
I was gonna say this. There's kind of this part of my mind that's thinking, oh god, this anime is I'm gonna get so deep into this anime at some point that's just gonna become my personality, and I'm accepting it. So
yeah, no,
that was me 3 years ago, Lizzie.
No, Utena is like the Evangelion for like shoujo in general. Like it is that kind of element of like people get really into it, and like and there's two categories: the ones who look for the deep, like deconstructive themes, but also who just like the story and it's a good story and like the characters,
right,
and connect them so much. And
also,
I am both of those.
Right. Also, with the fact that, you know, she was mentioning watching like the fan subs on like this crusty old video quality, I had an odd flashback to when I was in high school and I watched a lot of anime on YouTube, like but also fan subbed, but also y'all remember watching anime on YouTube in like 3 parts because of the 10-minute upload limit of the.
You mean how I watched Lucky Star? Yes, that is how I watched Lucky Star.
That's exactly how I watched Lucky Star as well.
That was how how I watched. That's how I watched Strawberry Panic back in the day. So
Strawberry Panic, Strawberry Panic, I got that from the library. So I was doing it alongside Maria Samagamitsu, which is
that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Which was though I saw them back to back, and it's always funny because I think from like an objective standpoint, Maria Samagamitsu is the better written show, but Strawberry Panic is so like batshit. You kind of like that one a little more, but yeah.
And I need you to understand that you are kind of a miracle of nature because you watched both of these anime back to back, and you somehow did not come out as did not realize you somehow were not trans. Like
no,
this experience did not trans your gender. Like,
no, I just thought they were good shows. I just thought they were fun. I enjoyed them.
Contrary to popular belief, people can in fact watch media and not have their egg cracked.
I know.
Proof of that.
I know. I just think it's amusing, just to like.
Fair. I'll
what do you mean the cis can enjoy these shows?
Anyway, do we want to continue?
Yeah, keep going.
Magical Girls that is so appealing to LGBT plus creators and viewers. Is it just that pretty girls fighting crime in the name of love and justice is deeply and irrevocably sapphic?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
There certainly are a lot of sapphic characters and relationships that pop up in different Magical Girl series.
Yes.
And most of my favorite Magical Girl series have at least one canonic lesbian character or couple. But are there actually more instances of sapphic characters than in, say, the slice of life or cooking genre? And if so, then
hell yeah,
why?
yes. I'm
well,
the Azumanga.
Let's find out.
Azumanga Daioh is very much my shit.
Azumanga Daioh, I've realized. Okay, so this is a little bit of a side tangent. I've been rewatching AMV Hells, like the original AMV Hells, just for nostalgia. Yep. Like late at night, my son's asleep, my spouse is out cold. Let's watch AMV Hell. And watching it again, I forget how omnipresent Azumanga Daioh was in that. Like every other one is an Azumanga Daioh reference. It's crazy. But like it reminds you how absent Azumanga Daioh is from the modern discourse. I love Azumanga Daioh, but I think it's really funky how like it's completely how those young kids have not seen a 20-something-year-old anime.
You youngins, you haven't seen Azumanga Daioh, you have no culture.
But they have seen Evangelion apparently, which is even older than Azumanga Daioh.
This is the thing though.
It is.
Azumanga, I feel, is kind of like a product of its time. It's like one of those series that was like super popular like back in the early 2000s. And then nowadays it's like there are so many animes that are like Azumanga nowadays or took direct inspiration from Azumanga. It's no surprise that it's getting left in the dust because there are so many series nowadays that are just doing that formula but better.
Agreed.
But I will say this right now, if you have not watched Azumanga Daioh, put it on your list. It is well worth 26 episodes to binge that, because it's quite possibly one of the bigger reasons why we have slice of life anime like it to this day.
I'm seeing someone in chat say City the Animation. Yeah, that's a great comparison, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's the thing. Keiji Arakawa took a lot of inspiration from Azumanga and took it into his works like Nichijou and City the Animation.
Nichijou, I think, is funnier, honestly. I do kind of love Nichijou. That show is great.
City is way too wacky. Is way too wacky at times. Nichijou at least felt a little bit more grounded and had a lot more episodes to flesh out the characters, I feel.
I mean, in fairness, Nichijou is kind of batshit. Like, it's kind of nuts. Like the freaking
my only experience with Nichijou is long ass time ago. I did a cover. I helped with a cover of the theme song with someone, and the person I helped the cover with ended up years later voicing Ken in the Persona 3 remake. So I thought that was funny.
That is very funny. That is very funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this. Oh, Yotsuba, yes.
As a disclaimer, I'm going to use the term lesbian a lot in this video. Just assume anytime I do, it's under the sapphic umbrella, which generally includes women loving women, bi women, trans women, and non-binary people. And just in general, I do tend to use gay and queer as reclaimed umbrella terms. So as long as we're all on the same page about that, we can move right along.
I know at least one person who would hate the fact she uses queer so frequently, but I'm not going to make that joke right now. Anyway, back to this.
Well, if we look at the narrative structure and core themes of the magical girl genre, there are a lot of reasons why it may naturally be appealing to sapphic women. While the magical girl genre isn't strictly binary, as there are plenty of magical boys, gender fluid, and non-binary people, the majority of magical girls are, well, unsurprisingly, girls. And when your story revolves around a cast that are all the same gender, then all of the focus, dialogue, character development, story, and drama are going to revolve around that cast
one of the gayest
and the
Jupiter
relationships
episodes.
they
I'm so
form
happy.
together.
Love it.
And while
Love it.
most of those relationships are going to be platonic, that doesn't mean all of them will be.
Oh, God,
Therefore, due to sheer numbers,
So
there's going to be an increase in the likelihood of queer themes, simply because characters of the opposite sex are less involved. This principle commonly applies to stories where there's some narrative reason for a gender-segregated cast, like being set in an all-girls or all-boys school, a sports team, or during war. But this can also overlap with the 1950s brand of misogynistic writing that's been dug so deep it accidentally circles right back around into homoromanticism.
Okay, so here's one thing I will argue with Noralities on. I don't know if I agree necessarily with that, with Tolkien. It is definitely some issues with chauvinism, for sure. But I don't think that's unintentional.
I was going to say, what's weird is that there's plenty of media that is so super macho that it accidentally circles back to being the gayest shit ever. Yeah. The reason why I like the Fast and Furious movies, for example, is because they are exactly that. They are super macho movies that circle back around to being the gayest shit ever, and I love it for that.
Yeah, no, I think of all the examples to cite, Lord of the Rings is a tough one because with Lord of the Rings, Tolkien very much wanted to show the intimacy of male relationships. Now, that being said, he probably wasn't very pro-LGBTQIA, but his storytelling is very much focused on the intimacy of male and male relationships. There's a lot of kissing, a lot of hugging, a lot of emotional vulnerability. And he drew from his experience in war when writing that, the kind of bonds that people forge when their lives are in danger. A better chat mentioned it already. A better example of super macho storytelling that circles back into very obviously queer is Top Gun. I think Top Gun's the best example you can go with on that one. Also Master of the Universe, but Top Gun more so. That one is. Have either of you seen Top Gun?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am of the hot take that I didn't find it nearly as gay as people were building it up to be, but yeah, I've seen it. So
you didn't think the volleyball scene was very homoerotic?
Yeah, the one scene. the way people were talking about this movie my entire life. You gotta understand, it built up
Lizzie,
a certain image.
You can be my
head.
wingman anytime. No,
Shut the
I'll
fuck
be yours.
Up. Shut the fuck up.
All I can think when I think of that scene is, "Hey, yeah, playing with the boys."
Yeah, no, it's one of those movies where like every scene. I mean, okay. Did pop culture maybe overemphasize how gay that movie is? Yeah, sure, but like. It's not in a vacuum.
Then again, I was pretty bored watching Top Gun overall, so that might have contributed to my.
Do you know
that's
listen, every time I'm watching Top Gun, it's like it's fine, and then it gets to the volleyball scene, and I'm like, real shit.
Well, I'll tell you this right now: Top Gun has some great montages, and I think the scenes where like Tom Cruise is going on his motorcycle across the Miami beachfront, it's the best. Every shot from that's a good image for a wallpaper on your computer. You know what I mean? Like it's a great shot to put on your wallpaper or on like a wall or something like that, like a glossy print. I don't know. I think Top Gun's fun. I like Top Gun. All right, I'm gonna let some super chats play real quick. Let's let some come through. Because they've been piling up.
At Nick Wolf 3885 super chatted $5. This stream is going too well. Quick. React to Nostalgia Critic's review of Ponyo. But only the clips
Jesus
of
Christ,
Doug,
no!
so your channel doesn't get nuked.
No, that's dangerous. Yeah, my channel getting nuked from Orbit Fight Studio Ghibli.
I was going to say,
Wang
the only
super
joy I'd have in...
$5.
Okay,
I wonder what's your thought on the Micah Monray movie 100 Nights of Hero? It was the most Utina-coded movie that I've ever seen.
I have not seen it, so I can't say.
I was getting...
At Nick Wolf 3885 super chatted $2. Multi-part YT vids is how I saw a Zuminga Dio smiley face.
Hell yeah.
Also, voice to chat's way of pronouncing Osmongadai was hilarious.
3885 super chatted $5.
It's not your fault. It's
my
the
friend's
chat.
sibling pointed out that Azuminga Dio possibly coined the term waifu, courtesy of Long Deep Sigh, the gym teacher.
Not the gym teacher, he's the math teacher. The gym teacher is subject to freaking his perversions. But yeah, no. Osmongadai is the show that created the term waifu.
So, a couple things. One, someone mentioned we should watch the critics' review of Ponyo. No, the only joy I get from that is that Little Karibo has a cameo, and Little Karibo's an absolute bro. So,
yeah, Little Karibo's awesome. Love Little Karibo.
Yeah. Secondly, so someone mentioned another piece of media that was like super macho and circled back to being unintentionally gay was He-Man, but I'd argue that that was very much intentional on like the part of the animators. But I was looking up the Wikipedia page for He-Man as a gay icon, and Anthony, you're mentioned in this Wikipedia article.
I am.
So.
Yes, I am cited on the He-Man is gay Wikipedia article.
Yeah, that is like, you need to flex that more often, man. I would like.
Listen, I don't like bragging about stuff. I always feel it's really like it's always like in poor form for me to do, but like I am cited like I think 100 times on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, chat, go to the Wikipedia page, He-Man as a gay icon, and on the second paragraph under background, Anthony is mentioned. So,
yeah. And it's before I had a YouTube channel. It's all like my writing before that. People don't realize this. Like, I've been online for a while. Like,
yeah, no, like even before I met you, I saw you on like back when we were all on Twitter. I saw you on that site a lot. So, and I think that's how we met. I don't remember the exact details.
There was something we did. There were a few things we did.
I was gonna say I can't remember exactly how we met. And did you play one of the Yaoi games I was in? That'd be funny.
That'd be funny. I don't think I did though. Actually, I wanted to, but I always felt to be weird. You know what I mean? It's like I've been watching like a lot of. Well, at work, I've been watching. Sometimes I'll have like go to the bathroom break. I'll watch like a video online, and I've seen like VTubers going like, "Yeah, I had a crush on this character," and then I found out my friend was voicing him, and I couldn't have a crush on him anymore. I'm like, "Yeah, that
coward."
That seems
I will
like
definitely.
A big one
I
is.
do just.
Sorry, I cut you off there.
yeah, you go. You finish your point.
Who's the voice actor? Who apparently everyone jokes voices every hot character in every game. Marvel Rivals. I always forget how you say his name. I know the VTuber he plays, but I always forget his.
Alejandro Sub?
Yeah, Alejandro. Yeah. Sayu. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I know it's his. I felt Alejandro Sub. Apparently he plays like every single hot character, and everyone who knows him like now can't flirt on the characters that he voices for that reason.
I can tell you that when you play a game with your friends in it, sometimes it's weird. It is weird as hell hearing your friend's voice and stuff. For example, like back when I played FF7 Remake for the first time and I first heard Roche, I didn't think much of it. But now that I know his voice actor, Austin, anytime I hear Roche in anything, I'm like, oh God, I can only hear Austin acting like a large ham.
Yeah.
That's all I can hear.
People also saying Matt Mercer. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I've heard he's a cool dude. I can imagine how awkward it is. Especially people thirsting on Ganondorf when he was playing him in the trailers. Anyway,
back to let's get back.
I do have a point. I just want to make real quick.
Go for it.
On the point of Azumanga and the math teacher, there's a funny little bit. Literally, anytime I think of Azumanga, I think of the infamous line of, Mr. Kimura, why'd you want to be a high school teacher? Because I like high school girls, that's why. And that one line, because like the rest of Azumanga Daioh in Australia is PG rated, that one line, I'm pretty sure in most of Kimura's antics, made Azumanga Daioh's first volume in Australia MA instead of PG.
That's wild. It's like it is like basic. It's because that really is the one bit that's like super inappropriate. Everything else is like totally fine for like a kid to read, even.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, because it is such an extreme dichotomy. Like everything else is like, I mean, granted, that's probably what, but really that made it MA, but not like freaking Master Roshi hitting on like Bulma, who's like a child in Dragon Ball, or like everything in Naruto, like Volume 1
of
Chapter 1 of Naruto. Fair,
it was like super early on. It was like very early on in the 2000s where they were just like, is this fine? Is this okay? Is this joking or is this serious?
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, back to this.
Like, there's no narrative reason why the story puts all the focus on the male characters and their relationships and barely includes any female characters in a way that's actually substantial, other than that the author just doesn't care or doesn't know how to write women. And in that case, then obviously the audience is going to become more invested in the main relationship you've spent days or months or sometimes actual real-time years cultivating instead of a hastily tacked on love interest mentioned in a single line as an afterthought.
Yeah.
Anyway, a typical magical girl series usually has a main cast of all girls, with let's say one male love interest for the heroine, which leaves anywhere from 2 to 4 to 9 other characters with an unaddressed lack of romantic subplot, which an author can handle a couple of different ways. Most of the time, they just won't get a romantic subplot, which is totally fine. If every character had a romantic subplot, it would lead to being tangled up in a love dodecahedron, which not every story is going to have room for. Or, as mentioned before, the writer can either invent or upgrade a minor, often disposable side character of the opposite sex for one of the main characters to fall in love with.
That was a cute
season 1 of Sailor Moon.
I was going to say season 1 of Sailor Moon did that a lot.
Yeah, I think with Ami it was like effective, whereas like after all, they just kind of like gave up and just ship-teased everyone else.
Yeah, no, it's funny with Ami, like the character they paired her up with disappeared after season 1. Meanwhile, the scruffy-haired fuck they kept trying to put Rei with somehow survived multiple seasons, and
would have like solo episodes about him every.
And I am perplexed why, because he is such a fuck. I hate him.
He is a real nothing character, but they brought back like Ray's grandpa a lot, who like every time was just like a vaguely dirty old man every time. I'm like, why are we bringing this character back? Why do we have to focus on him every so often?
Right?
Like, I mean, the Ray episodes, it's funny because Ray, I feel like Ray's solo episodes were the worst of the core group. Is that a hot take? I don't know. I feel like her episode
might be. I don't really think that's a hot take.
I don't think so either, because she has a few episodes that I do like. I can only really think of one Ray solo episode actually that I really liked, and that was the one where she did the concert. That one was fun.
Which again did not involve the shrine.
Right. No, and it was in the garbage filler arc at the beginning of Sailor Moon R.
Yeah, and it had an interesting song in the Deke dub. That was a kind of neat, kind of nostalgic.
Take here. I think Ray is kind of the most underdeveloped Sailor Scout, and it's all the fault of like the writing and either like adaptation that you watch Sailor Moon in.
But the weird thing is, she has a lot of episodes, but like they're the ones that I vaguely care about the least. Whereas like I don't dislike Ray, but I'm like, compared to the Ami episodes or the Mako episodes, or even the Mina episodes, it's like among the inner senshi, like she's the least interesting, I feel like.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, there are several episodes focused on each Guardian that I could point to that I really like, especially Makoto has quite a few. Minako has Nurse Minako, which is a peak episode.
That is a great episode.
God tier. So
that is one of the best episodes of like R, I think.
Yeah.
I also think Ami has a lot of good, like, really well written episodes that deal with her insecurities. I like the one where It's in R also when they're going into the future and she feels totally useless and she uses her computer to kind of solve the problem of the episode.
Yeah.
I like that. It's fun. It's neat. I like that one. That was good.
Yeah. Dang, I don't think Ray has that many great okay.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think about this before.
I think Mako has the best episodes, personally.
Oh, absolutely. Makoto has all the best episodes because Makoto's the best fucking character.
She is great. I do love Mako. She's so great. And I love the dichotomy. I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, let's go back to the video.
And extremely forgettable because they usually have no bearing on the main plot and exist just to be a token love interest. Which leads me to the third option, have two of the main cast fall in love with each other. From a narrative standpoint, the latter is more interesting than inventing or upgrading a love interest, because it's a relationship between main characters who are going to continue to remain relevant and be a part of the main action, and who the audience is already more likely to become invested in because there's more time spent with them. So
that was also Ikuhara who did that one, right?
Genre does...
Yeah, it's Ikuhara. Yes. Yeah, it's Penguin Drum also pretty good, I will say.
Penguin Drum is honestly the most cishet thing that he's ever made, and that's saying a lot because
it's still right in the flamboyant.
It's right in the middle of Utena. It's between Utena and Yuri Arashi, and then Sarazanmai. The dude can only do one cishet story in his entire run, and I respect him for that.
I was gonna say, bless him for that.
But even then, it's pretty flaming. It's pretty coded.
Oh yeah, it has just because it has cishet characters and it has the focal point, it still manages to get some censored F slur here.
It's the gayest straight thing I've seen in a very long time. It's the best way of putting it. My spouse and I were joking about like how there's some things that are straight but are feel gay when you watch it, and that's one of them. I feel like Penguin Drum. Anyway,
absolutely.
Another one is My Adventures with Superman, but for different reasons.
Have at least a slight natural inclination towards queer narratives because it usually focuses on same-sex characters. But the most important factor by far has to be because
also, I want to point out something right here about Noralities' design here. Does her outfit look familiar?
Yep, it's Ray's pink overall outfit.
It's Ray's pink overall outfit. Yeah. For those in chat who don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to bring it up real quick.
Also, we are 6 minutes in, and I am 6 minutes in, and I don't have anything to object to so far. Like, holy if this were like a Doug Walker or a Lily Orchard, I would have bitched at every point every 20 seconds.
Aren't you glad I didn't choose to do the Lily Orchard reacts to Ghibli films video?
It would nuke your channel from orbit if that happened.
God, yeah. People were kind of like, hey, because I mentioned wow, Lily Orchard put out a controversial video and no one's asked me to react to it. I'm so proud of you guys. And then when I said that, everyone was like, well, but could you though? I'm like, no, I'm not going to because Studio Ghibli doesn't fuck around with copyright.
No, they don't.
And then I looked up, I did a little bit of digging just for casual sakes. And apparently even Lily Orchard was like, yeah, Ghibli doesn't fuck around with copyright. Like, yeah, that's why you shouldn't have fucking done the react about them, you stupid. Anyway, back to this.
Themes of the magical girl genre overlap with the queer experience. If we examine the core aspects that pop up in the magical girl genre, it's pretty easy to see how one could interpret these themes as a metaphor for the queer experience. While there isn't a set age for being a magical girl, and they can be anywhere from 10 to 18 years old, most magical girls center on the early to mid-teen years. Because this age marks the transitional period where you're in a sort of limbo of being not really a child, but not really an adult yet either. You're starting to face more responsibility while lacking a lot less of the freedoms. Going through the process of puberty marks a physical change on the body, and with that change comes self-discovery and the exploration of one's identity and expression of that identity. In the case of magical girls, that is often a secret identity, one they often feel they must keep hidden from their family due to the fear of the consequences of being outed. They lead a double life as a normal girl by day and sneak out at night to deal with problems other people their age don't have to deal with. In this way, magical girls are othered, becoming literally not like other girls, often due to factors that are beyond their control.
God damn it, that was actually a good use of not like other girls. God damn it!
I know, right?
God!
It's almost like Noralities is talented or something, and everyone who is criticizing her should have really fucking taken a step back and like examined.
Look, I know I'm not saying much, but really, I'm just kind of interested in the. I'm just kind of
right.
I'm interested in what she's saying, even if like I don't think there's anything I really disagree with too much so far outside of the Lord of the Rings comment. But that's not even like part of the main point, so I don't care.
Like, I want to say. She knows ball. She's throwing out so many fucking good Magical Girl references here. She brought out Nanaha and Ochamacho Doremi. She knows ball. I love this.
Exactly. So I want to draw a point of comparison here. Again, so Lizzie, now I know Chloe knows this because we talked about this in the past before. This particular user, Noralities, got so much fucking hate online from all of the right wing collectively and the right wing anime fandom specifically, bombarded with it.
Of fucking course.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all she's doing is calmly and cohesively discussing these topics at hand.
Right, like even if you don't agree with her point, like there's nothing wrong with how she's presenting it. Like, meanwhile, like just going over a few folks we've talked about on this channel before, like you have Lily Orchard, who's not only wrong about everything, but also aggressive in being wrong about everything.
And just
so it's an unpleasant experience.
And just cruel on top of it all,
So it's an unpleasant experience. Or you have Doug Walker, who's not only wrong about everything, but really annoying about it. Like,
to say nothing of the other stuff he's involved in.
Right, like completely taking like the personal bullshit and like actual bad things these people have done. Like I'm talking their videos here. Like,
and even like so Jello, and even like Jello Apocalypse, who's like, I think probably is nowhere close to as bad as things Lily Orchard or Doug Walker have done, but it's just like obnoxious sometimes.
Right. Like his whole, like my problem with him is, again, not only is it just badly formed opinions, but they're ones presented obnoxiously because he feels the need to do a stupid voice in every video to keep the audience's attention, which annoys the shit out of me. Like,
and I disagree with some of his opinions, but like the thing is, like with this, it's like Noralities is like very calmly. She has good presentation of her ideas. She's incorporating artistic skill mixed in with everything with her art skills. She has a good sense of music, one that I envy. I have to work on my music choices sometimes. I tend to choose some more overly dramatic music sometimes. She's able to very patiently and cohesively, and in a way it's interesting and involving. Like there's nothing about her content that is remotely bad. This is good stuff.
You know what? I'm going to say it. If you can't get through a Noralities is how you pronounce the name?
Yeah.
If you can't get through a Noralities video without freaking out, you're weak and won't survive the winter.
Yeah. I will, towards the end, if we have enough time, show you one of her more controversial videos, and you will get a sense of how she's grown, but at the same time, like, and her most recent video, the Sleeping Beauty one, is actually, like, probably peak. Like, really,
I'll have to watch it. Because honestly, this video is interesting. I might just watch more of her stuff. I might just watch more of her stuff now. Like, Thank you, Aunt. You gave me more stuff to watch. So.
If nothing else, revisit her videos and put them back in the algorithm because we need better material like this. We need more discourse like this that's enthusiastic about the media, clearly well informed, and not focused on being obnoxious or mean-spirited. It's just, hey, here's a thing I'm passionate about, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm passionate about it.
I want more videos of hyperfixations being put on full display.
Exactly. 100%. All right, back to this.
Have a couple of normal friends, but over time will start to become closer with their fellow magical girls. This is because the bond between magical girls is created from their shared identity, goals, and interests. It creates a different level of intimacy knowing that a friend not only knows exactly what you're going through, but will also have your back no matter what. The teen years are also when many people try dating for the first time, and with dating and romantic interest comes the turbulent period of first loves and all that includes, such as unrequited love and panic.
Yeah.
Magical girls will often have a crush on someone who they want to be with, but feel like they can't confess because they'll be rejected due to this core part of their identity. Now, obviously, being a magical pink cat girl isn't exactly the same as being a closeted gay 13-year-old, but these are the same feelings and experiences that many closeted queer people go through. The fear of being outed, of rejection or alienation after coming out, having to be on eggshells and constantly hide a part of their identity from the people who are supposed to unconditionally love and care for them, and finding new strengths and a place of belonging from people who have similar experiences and a shared identity. The outcome is definitely different, but the root is the same. So it's clear to say that there is potential here, but this didn't pop up from nowhere. There had to be something that started this trend, right? To figure out the answer to this question, we'll have to rewind and take a look back all the way to the 1990s.
Only 90s kids remember.
Only 90s
I'll be the first to
90s,
admit that part of me does feel a little repetitive when talking about magical girls because I always inevitably return to talking about Sailor Moon. But you have to understand that if I didn't, it would be like writing an essay on important superheroes and then not mentioning Superman.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible. The two are inextricably linked. Because, like it or not, Sailor Moon's success in one way or another has shaped the landscape of the magical girl genre for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon wasn't the first magical girl anime to exist, but its smash success made magical girls extremely lucrative and brought the genre into the mainstream. And one of the ways that it did this was by establishing several key elements that previous magical girl series lacked. One being the shift from solo magical girls into team units and putting the focus almost entirely on girls, their relationships, problems, and goals. The reclamation of feminine interests and values as a source of power and strength and not a weakness. And lastly, the inclusion of queerness. The 90s anime made some changes from the manga and created or edited several examples of queer characters over the course of the series, like making kunzite and zoisite lovers, Fisheye's whole deal, and changing the Starlights from cross-dressing women into being magically gender fluid.
Yeah.
But the most important inclusion from the manga and anime was the relationship between Sailor Uranus and Neptune, because it was the first positive portrayal of a lesbian relationship in a mainstream manga or anime ever.
Oh, I can't see this scene without laughing because I remember the Cloverway dub version.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that right, cousin? Some shit like that.
No, in this scene, she talks about her first kiss with Brad, the cutest guy in school.
Oh, that's right.
It's one of my favorite bad dub changes. I'm obsessed with it. I did a whole short video about it.
Yes, Brad. I love when they made all these changes, but didn't remove the hearts and roses or the way it cuts right.
No, like, in this scene specifically, she's like, oh, my sweet Brad, I wonder where you are. And then with the hearts and roses, it pans over to Uranus.
Yeah, I want to just say this real quick. Say Uranus and Neptune. Absolutely, like, big lesbian energy. I do want to state one thing that I don't know if it's going to get brought up, so I'm going to bring it up now. The change that Crystal made that made it more overtly obvious or implied that Uranus is actually non-binary. Fucking love that.
That's definitely from the manga. That's from the manga directly. The original anime did not have any implication that Uranus was gender fluid, I think, which is interesting. Whereas
gender fluid is one thing, and non-binary is the one that's more specific, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think they really specify which Uranus is. You know, like they're kind of vague in that way they phrase it in both the manga and Crystal, whereas in the 90s anime, Uranus is very like mask presenting, like, you know. Uranus wears, suits and wears more masculine clothing typically, but it's not the same thing. Oh, by the way, I want to address this right now. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. I'm going to be posting a link to the Discord after this. You can access Discord as a member afterwards. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. So Chloe and Lizzie, keep going. Yeah, I trust you entirely. You have my full trust. Go for it. I believe in you. I'll be right back.
Thanks.
He keeps on doing this, and it's just like he knows exactly what's going to happen the minute that he leaves, doesn't he?
Yeah, probably.
But on the topic of Sailor Uranus, let's be real here. If I had to deal with someone like that in high school, I probably would have come out as trans and gay a lot more sooner, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. No, I often joke my recent approach to gender expression is basically Sailor Uranus, and I think that's accurate. So
yeah, no shit. I look at like the photos that you keep on like posting every so often, and I'm just like, wow, you are basically just a much more butch Sailor Uranus. I'm not gonna lie, Lizzie.
No, it's funny because like people are seeing my avatar. This was my last haircut I had. My hair is shorter now, y'all. Like it's just like I decided I really liked the butch haircut. So I decided to stick with it. So.
Not gonna lie, you fuck with it very well. I'm gonna be real here.
Thank you.
Like I've already seen you in like the the cosplay that you did that one time, and I'm just like gay panic immediately.
That seems to be a reaction a lot of sapphics I know have with me now. So
yeah, look, it's a thing that happens sometimes. Like I'm gonna be real here. You look fucking brilliant. I'm gonna keep on saying that.
You're going to make me blush, Jesus.
We already know that I can't just do that. Like, there is a specific way I can do that. I'm not going to do that on stream. If you want to know how I do that to Lizzie, I posted a podcast I do with Lizzie and friend of...
Oh god, that did happen on podcast, didn't it? No!
Yes, it's on recording. It's recording as to how it happened. If you want to hear Lizzie... If you want to hear Lizzie get blushy, juicy, how I did that, listen to the podcast I just put up yesterday.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something right now. I'm gonna let the super chats play real quick, and you're gonna see why I'm doing it right now.
Oh, good.
Let me just let some of these come
At
up.
Color Theory,
You'll see why
UB super chatted $5. I think we're ready to apply the "I hate you" meme to Noralities haters.
Yes, absolutely. Ooh, wow, flow state.
At Pandamani super chatted $10. Apologies in advance for the dinging that accompanies gifting memberships.
Oh, no problem. I'm very grateful for that. Here we go. I'm gonna let these just sit for a second. Thank you so much, Pandemoni, for 20 gifted members. But now we are going to have to play these all out. It's just gonna keep running. We can keep talking. It's not gonna matter. We're gonna be stuck here for a little bit of time. It's just gonna keep ringing.
Ring.
There's 20 gifted members who get announced on stream.
Wild.
It's gonna take a little bit of time. Best Erica
no,
yes, agreed for Sailor Uranus.
But no, we were just talking about how I've been like going full butch short hair recently, and now all my sapphic friends think I look cute. So like,
there you go. So when are you gonna be cosplaying Sailor Uranus?
Eventually, it's definitely on my list. I have a little list.
Let's go.
Like,
yeah, do it.
Mm-hmm. Like the only cosplay I have on me right now is my character from Jock Studio. So
there you go. I have not seen nearly enough cosplay in general. I've never cosplayed really. I've always been a little too afraid to do it. I don't know why. Oh wait, go away. I clicked the wrong thing by accident.
You should totally cosplay Umino from Sailor Moon, specifically in his tuxedo mask attire.
Oh my god, yes, with the squiggly and everything. I go to like New York Anime Convention, with like fucking
tuxedo Umino mask. Yes.
Oh my god,
that'd be great. I love it. I've always joked like if it's like a cold convention, I can go with like dressed as like Yuri in like his like wearing a jacket outfit, because it only involves me wearing a mask and a jacket and like a heavy jacket, and we're halfway there.
I always joke. So like I said, I got a cosplay of my character Yuto from Jock Studio, and there's a part of me tempted to just go to a convention dressed as Yuto, and I'm going to see which ones will recognize me and which ones will admit they recognize the character.
That's the better question. Who's going to actually admit to knowing what it's from?
Who is going to admit that they played the yaoi sports sex game?
I think they would be brave to admit it. If you're not,
I have massive respect for those who do. Like, there was a time a year ago I was doing like a doing a guest voice acting like teaching bit for a college class, and someone admitted they knew me for one of the Yaoi games. I have massive respect for that guy, because to admit that in a college classroom is hilarious. So
no, 100% agree with that. That takes some confidence. That takes a lot of confidence. I respect that entirely. I agree. No, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I love that so much.
That's the kind of stuff I wish I could see more of. People being confident in themselves about like liking the stuff they like. And
right,
again,
because there's always this weird stigma about like liking or even making like 18 plus work, and it just fucking bothers me. Like, I don't like it at all.
Puritanism, baby.
Well, I was talking to one creator, and I won't say who got denied a sponsorship because they did an OnlyFans.
What the fuck?
People suck.
Like,
people suck.
Yeah, no, like, back when I voiced in that one series, the biggest controversy I ever got into that just caused shit both within and outside the show was the fact that I was...
_purple_fairy super chatted $4.93. Said it again. We'll say it again. Saturn is my favorite Sailor Senshi.
Saturn's a great Sailor Senshi.
Saturn is great. Saturn is great.
Love Saturn.
But yeah, like, one of the biggest controversies I got in while I was on that other show was like the fact that I voiced in sexually explicit stuff, and it's like, you know, I don't understand why that was always like the big thing that I had to deal with every other fucking month. Like,
some people are ridiculous. That's the problem. They're just this obnoxious. It sucks.
It's like,
I don't know, and people just suck with that. I don't know. It's like I think there's worse things that you could be involved in. That it's funny, especially in American media. And we'll go back to the video after this. I feel very often that people hyper-focus on, like, sexual material as opposed to violent material. And I think violent material is more extreme and more affecting on the brain than sexual material. Because, like, human intimacy is not, like, terrible, but violence is not natural.
Like, my conditions for doing 18 plus work, and these two conditions have always been like holy writ. I can leave a project if I even get the sneaking suspicion they're not abiding by the rules. Exactly. Is that one, the scenes need to be consensual, and two, they need to involve adults. So that all involved parties need to be at least 18. That is like those are my strict rules. If a project doesn't abide by them, I'm out. Like.
Good call, especially the 18s are up rule, because
right. Like, projects. I think the one project I was in that kind of stretched that rule a bit was offering my virginity to a gangster, because like some of the scenes in that show do go into dubious consent, but that's about it. Like
yeah, and I feel like if the work is focused on it being more dramatized, that's one thing, you know. Like,
right. Like that first rule, like, of consent can be stretched depending on context. So
yeah.
Like, if it's portrayed, if it's done, but it's portrayed as a bad thing, then I'm like, okay, we're good. Like,
yeah, like if you're in like the game equivalent of Last House on the Left, like, you kind of know going in it's going to be like, that's a theme that's going to be involved, you know?
Right. Like, you know, I said some, like, I guess another one that stretched it was, I guess, technically Deadly Night, because my character threatened to do some vile fucking shit. But
there you go. Anyway, back to this. I know we're going to get sidetracked on that whole topic if we don't, but...
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's all good. Back to
positive
Brad.
Representation being the key word here. Up until this point, and actually for a while after, most gay and lesbian characters would either be played for comedy or as sexual predators, or sometimes both. Earlier instances of even accidental queerness, like in 1983's episode of Urusei Yatsura, which has two girls going on a date due to a wacky misunderstanding, makes a point to mention several times how this is a very, very bad wrong thing and the importance of straightening out these characters and putting them back on the right path. Remember, this was at a time when the yuri genre, which is the term for Japanese media that broadly covers stories about the relationships between women and girls' love, was still in its infancy. During the 1970s and 80s, most yuri works often had tragic endings, wherein even if characters were in a romantic relationship, they ultimately ended up dying or permanently separated. But by the 90s, tragic narratives had declined, and one of the reasons for this was Sailor Moon's influence on the yuri genre itself. Sailor Moon wasn't created as a yuri work, but it has since then been claimed as one by the yuri community. While the Sailor Moon manga does unfortunately lean into some of these stereotypes, like the predatory lesbian by having Uranus kiss Sailor Moon without her consent, which I should mention the 1990s anime removed, only for Crystal to put it back in 2016, which kind of feels like it's one step forward and two steps back. But overall, it was different from previous depictions of lesbian characters because this wasn't a one-off instance or a misunderstanding played for comedy or a character written in only to be immediately disposed of.
Uranus and Neptune are main characters, and Sailor Moon S is, for the most part, their arc.
They are introduced as antagonists, which at the time was standard for queer characters, but ultimately they become allies with Sailor Moon.
At the end,
I will say one thing in regards to S.
Yeah.
I really love the fact that in Crystal, they're seen less antagonistic and more as like a neutral force in Crystal, which is more manga accurate.
I like them as rivals. I think that's fun.
I'll say I don't think.
Okay, there's a difference between rivals and antagonistic.
Yeah, but I don't mind them being antagonistic in S. I don't have an issue with that, but I'm also biased because I like those kinds of conflicts.
I've never really viewed Uranus, Neptune, and S as antagonists per se. More like I do see them more like kind of more anti-heroic, I want to say, especially in a lot of their actions.
They're anti-villains.
Yeah. More the ends justify the means, but the ends are saving the world from total annihilation.
Right. I talked about, so I did a bunch of Sailor Moon watch threads on Blue Sky sometime back. I should probably get back to those at some point. But I remember one thing I pointed out in regards to S is that I found it interesting that Uranus and Neptune's becoming their story of how they became magical girls was portrayed less as like the cool, super awesome gift the other Senshi had, and more like a curse. And I think that kind of influenced how they go about things. And I found that very interesting.
No, I agree. And I think it's really interesting how in Sailor Moon S, you get a sense that they are not necessarily against Usagi because they don't like her. They actually do admire her quite a bit. It's more that they feel like she's too soft-hearted to do what needs to be done. And they put themselves through awful shit for the sake of what they think of as the greater good. But it doesn't actually do anything that actually benefits them in the end, or their cause. And it's actually the idealism that actually protects Usagi. I think it's a very realistic kind of reaction to the idealism in the genre. I think Uranus, Neptune, and I've considered on occasion doing a video about this topic to more articulate my thoughts in full, but I just never felt it would be a good idea because I always think no one's going to want to watch it. But I feel like with Uranus and Neptune, they almost exist as a counterbalance to Usagi's idealism, but Usagi's idealism is so extreme and so powerful that it shows why it's so relevant. Why that, truth and justice and love is so relevant in that world. It's kind of like almost like a miniature, almost like an expanded version of what Superman did much later on in the comic, What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way, where it's like, you kind of question, are these idealistic methods the protagonist employs, are they effective? Do they get the job done? And the answer is yeah.
And yes, while you can argue that in S, Uranus and Neptune are a bit more antagonistic, I think what helped counterbalance that is the fact that while they didn't have exactly the best relationship with the other Senshi, they genuinely cared for each other, and that was always portrayed as a major positive. So
agreed,
100%,
which is big, I think. Anyway, back to this.
Not only do they survive, not only are they still together, they leave to raise their new adopted daughter together.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon came out at the perfect time due to the changing cultural climate about gay rights in the 90s, and its immense popularity more or less opened the door for positive depictions of women-loving women in mainstream anime and the magical girl genre.
Now, I will say this, one thing I do think Noralities could have done better at this point in the essay, when discussing the changing views of sexuality, she's focusing too much on American.
Right. That is one thing I noticed.
Yeah, that's one issue I have. Because Japan's journey for equal rights with LGBTQI people is very different than America's. I don't think AIDS was as big a deal in Japan as it was in America. I don't think it ever spread there too quickly. I don't know the... Actually, let me confirm that before I before I start talking on my butt, let me actually see what the answer is. So, okay, so United States, global interest in news that followed. Okay, yeah, so Japan's population affected people remains low in comparison to other countries. But the number of cases has risen since, okay, so 6 homosexual men were diagnosed with AIDS in 1985. By 1990, it was 100. So, like, very minimally by comparison.
Right.
Yeah, so that's one. So, and that definitely impacted a lot of the culture surrounding gay men, especially in America. But in Japan, it's barely a blip on the radar. So that's the thing of factor too. And I also think, and she could mention this later, so this problem might be moot. I think she could also mention that despite, this being a big step, there was a point in time in the original 90s Sailor Moon anime where Uranus and Neptune had effectively been removed from the story with no explanation. All of Super S, basically.
Right. And I think I've read conflicting reports on why that happened, though one I do hear, and I don't know if it's true, I could be wrong, is the fact that there was some controversy in regards to their conclusion in Sailor Moon S, so they were removed for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to say with any confidence why, but I do know that. But one thing I can say is that Sailor, as much as we want to say America was controversial with it and we reacted too much, Japan had their controversies too with it. It wasn't like it was fine. And it used to be it was fine in Japan but not okay in America. But it wasn't really fine in Japan either. It was still controversial there too. It just so happened to be in one of the most popular shows for kids, So people kind of gave it a pass because it was
you're always regardless of where the series was made, there was always going to be controversy as a result of incorporating these two characters and their relationship into this story.
Exactly. All right, back to this.
And its effects can be seen on several other notable anime that were more or less created in direct responses
that was my phone
to Sailor Moon,
my phone wallpaper for a while. Oh, it still is, actually. Never mind. It still is.
There you go. It's a good image. I like that image. It's a good shot.
The manga for Cardcaptor Sakura was created by Clamp shortly before finishing their work on Magic Knight's Rayearth and is overall very gay. It's notable for the best friend character, Tomoyo, having a one-sided, unrequited love for Sakura. Because Tomoyo knows that Sakura doesn't love her in the same way, she decides to put Sakura's happiness above her own and is content to remain as best friends. Her love for Sakura is completely selfless. Sakura's happiness is her happiness. 1 year later, in 1997, Revolutionary Girl Utena would be directed by Kunihiko Ikuhara,
Here we go.
a former director on Sailor Moon, particularly Sailor Moon R, the movie, and the 4th season, Sailor Moon S, which introduces Uranus and Neptune.
That was the 3rd season.
The 3rd Sailor Moon film, Sailor Moon Supers, was originally going to be directed by Ikuhara, and would have featured the first appearance of Uranus and Neptune as the main characters in a standalone story independent from the TV series. However, Ikuhara was unsatisfied by the limitations of the source material and wanted to push the series further. And in 1996, he left directing Sailor Moon to start his own group, B Papas, where he eventually created Utena. Utena is more or less what Ikuhara wished he could do with Sailor Moon, but never could, such as straight up killing the prince. And several of the unused concepts for the plot of the Supers film, such as Neptune being in a 1,000-year deep sleep at the end of the world and a chase scene on flying horses, were repurposed instead into Utena. Revolutionary Girl Utena is also extremely gay, with student council member Yuri Arisugawa having a semi-unrequited love for Shiori. But it's most notable for the relationship between protagonists Utena and Anthe. While it is complicated and the series is about much more than just romance, as the story unfolds, they become closer and closer until by the end they have slowly fallen in love with one another over the course of the entire series. While the anime is less explicit and could be seen as falling into the tragic yuri tropes from the 70s and 80s, I do interpret the anime's ending as positive. And the follow-up film Adolescence of Utena is much more explicit and overtly hopeful in its execution. By the late 90s, there had been a major increase in Magical Girl series being produced, which has only started.
There is one point that I feel like Noralities really could have actually brought up in that part specifically. And it's a point that I feel is arguably one of the most important bits in relation to the Amphi and Utena relationship. They are actually they're actually the first not only canon lesbian couple after Uranus and Neptune, but it's also a bi-POC relationship as well.
Interracial.
Because
exactly.
because of the two. And it's like that is arguably the more groundbreaking thing, because it's a queer bi-POC relationship between two women.
Yeah.
Also, unlike Uranus and Neptune, these two actually do kiss on screen. So
yes,
another speak.
Multiple times.
A lot. And sleep together more than once.
They sleep together in a bed that has been lovingly called the 69 bed.
That really is a 69 bed.
You'll know it when you see it, Lizzie.
It's even fucking
I'm excited.
Like it's even shaped
so
like 69. Like a 69. Jesus Christ. It's nuts. This bed's crazy. It's
it's
around the point when the show loses its mind.
We can continue.
All right, there you go.
Started to decline in recent years. And with that, a pattern emerged of the repeated inclusion of sapphic themes and lesbian characters. Now, I will be the first to admit that these series are not created equally.
Let's go.
Not all of these are necessarily good or positive examples of lesbian representation, and that has to do with how lesbian media is produced and consumed, especially in Japan. Lesbian representation has a myriad of problems in the way it's depicted in media for a lot of complicated, interconnected reasons. And this is going to be a lot to cover, so just bear with me for a bit. On one end of the spectrum, there's the hypersexual objectification and fetishizing of lesbians for the male gaze. And then on the other end is lesbian purity, where their love is just too pure and innocent for this sinful world.
I love that little bit.
So these depictions are reductive, to say the least. Murder lesbians and ace lesbians are both fantastic, and I love them both. But when that's the majority of, and largely the only acceptable way lesbian characters are ever written, not only is that unrealistic, it's harmful stereotyping. Now here's the thing. The yuri genre, unlike its opposite yaoi, which is media about gay men, but it's mostly made by and for the consumption of women, and is separate from bara, which is mostly made by and for gay men.
Because
my brother's husband.
It doesn't really, because it's very one-sided, and it's kind of there's only two like gay characters in that. And it's more unrequited, more than straight up boys love.
Yeah, and the other problem is the point that she's making is that yaoi is mainly made by women for women, whereas yuri is made very often by other women. I think it's an oversimplification. There is a lot of bara, which is I think in yaoi, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that is a more explicit trope in yaoi. Yeah. But again, I would not call Girlfriend Nakamura yaoi. It's boys love at the least. It's probably just like playing up like boys love stereotypes for like a cishet audience.
Yeah, that's the thing too with yaoi and yuri. Some of them are more emotionally driven, some are more physically driven. And they tend to get grouped in with each other. For example, a book like My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness.
Oh, I love that one. Great
manga. But would you compare it to like fucking like Rose of Versailles or No. Like deeply depressing, deeply personal autobiography that's like upsetting and disorienting and like painful to read. Like very different than like the more elevated and I say elevated not necessarily because it's better written, but because it's like heightened emotionally narratives like Sailor Moon, like Revolutionary Girl Utena, like Rose of Versailles, that are very like heightened and extreme because quite frankly reality is more grounded in general. There's one manga I love, She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat.
Oh, I've been reading that. I love that.
So cute.
So good.
Cute series. Love that one. But that deals with ace love, like asexual but still romantic love. And And that right there is beautiful, but also very different tonally, and also adult, you know? That's the thing too. A lot of yaoi and yuri tend to be like teenage focused, like adolescent, but like a lot of adult josei stories, they tend to be very sapphic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But in a more mature adult kind of way, which I think is interesting. Anyway, back to this. Let's continue with this, because it's still a lot more.
Yuri doesn't have any definitive separation between stories made by women and those made by men. Even though, generally speaking, they can be split into distinct subcategories based on their target demographic of either shoujo, josei, shonen, and seinen, respectively speaking, girls, women, boys, and men. Shoujo yuri tends to focus on fairy tale-inspired narratives that idolize Takarazuka review-inspired girl prince characters.
Yes!
Josei yuri usually portrays sapphic couples that are grounded in a firmer sense of reality and realism. And lastly, shonen and seinen yuri will either often depict relationships between innocent schoolgirls and predatory lesbians. Usually you can tell at a glance which is which, but not always. And the fact that they're all classed under the same umbrella term as yuri and there is no real separation between them is kind of annoying. Like, for instance, if you're perusing through the genre, on the same shelf you may find mixed together My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, an autobiographical josei manga, Sweet Blue Flowers, Yuru Yuri, Other Side Picnic, or something like Chirality. So I actually ground through the Wikipedia listing of definitive Yuri works to try and figure out how they were split demographic-wise.
Also, Jesus Christ, the Yuri Yuri flashback.
Yeah, Yuri Yuri is a weird... That's a weird series, Yuri Yuri. Like,
it's weird. It's also not that great to go back and watch, to be honest, because they actively just flat out bully one of the main cast into just like, oh yeah, who is she again? Just constantly. It's just like, I get that's a joke, but it's just like, okay, it's the joke for like 3 whole seasons. When do we get into the good shit?
The problem is the shows have like introduce a character, all the characters with like 2 or 3 good jokes, and then run those jokes into the ground. That being said, though, some of the best reaction picks from any anime, though. Also,
honestly, the only good thing about Yuri Yuri is the fact that I use like a lot of the reaction gifs from that show to good effect, and it's almost entirely when my wife sends me photos of her looking stunning as shit.
There you go. Also, Read or Die reference is, I gotta say, I love that. Love Read or Die. I haven't seen that one in ages.
Yep.
Steel Angel Karumi. That feels like a real...
That is a deep cut. That is a fucking deep cut right there.
I haven't thought of that in years. Like, middle school years. Like, Jesus, that's crazy. Anyway, keep going, sorry.
Titles, along with 2 other titles I didn't include because they were multi-classed. 36 didn't have a listed demographic. Seinen accounted for 28, Shonen 12, Shoujo 9, and Josei 4. Yeah. And if you remove the 36 that aren't classed as any demographic, Seinen makes up over half that list. Now, to be clear, this is a very small pool of numbers that I'm pulling from, and I'm sure that in a larger, more comprehensive study, those percentages would absolutely be different. And at the end of the day, I can only speak for myself. But it can be extremely frustrating to be a queer woman looking for works about and made by other queer women, only to have the majority of works in that space be taken up by men making works fetishizing queer women. I'm not saying that you can only like what your target demographic is, or that only men can write and consume seinen. Some of my favorite anime, period, are yuri titles like Bloom Into You, which is a shonen manga written by a woman, and Revolutionary Girl Utena, a shoujo anime directed by a man. But it's because of all these extenuating factors that I can't say I'm really a fan of yuri as a whole. And while that is annoying, in general, it bothers me a lot less than some of the other alternatives out there. What feels worse, to me at least, is when an author or company will pretend that they're going to include substantial LGBT representation while intending to never actually do so. In a word, queerbaiting.
Okay, we're going to pause right here for a second. So, I think, Lizzie, you can see why certain people would get pissed off by Noralities.
I'm seeing, and
I disagree with it, but I see why you can see why certain chuds reacted the way they did to her.
Right. And I get where look, I'm a Yuri fan, but I totally understand where she's coming from with this entire argument. Like, I get it, and in many ways, I agree. Like, I do agree that it's like, yeah, it can be frustrating when you want to just read good, like you have like a certain type of Yuri in mind, and it's like it's kind of hard. You have to kind of filter through a lot of crap that's like being written like. It's kind of hard to find the actual lesbian stories versus the ones that are just fetishizing lesbians. Like,
yeah, and that's a big factor too. There's a lot of fetishy bullshit. There's a lot of fetishy bullshit, and that
there absolutely is.
And it sucks because like you go through it and you're like, God, why is this so fetishy? Why is it so
right?
And I want to emphasize right now, fetishy does not mean sexualized. It means there's no character beyond the sexualization.
Right. I was going to say, I like to kind of like there's a fine line between having a work that fetishizes lesbians and a lesbian work that has spice.
Yeah. Hugely different. Right. Typically speaking, there's no humanity to characters. And you may have a super dramatized story, but even the drama is milked for like superficial appeal, as opposed to exploring characters who undergo change and experience something more extreme. And it sucks. It really does suck. But it's the fetish is bad. Someone in chat was saying the fetish is bad unless it's the fetish I like. You know what? Fair enough. But like still. But
I mean, what I'm saying is like there's a difference between portraying fetishes and fetishizing lesbians. There's a world of difference between the two. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's trivializing because the story can have so much potential as a narrative that to really explore the ideas in a human fashion. But at the same time, I think a lot of works deal with complex topics superficially, and the best works are the ones that stand out beyond that, you know? But it's a lot of junk is the problem. And I would say Yuri has this problem less than Yaoi. I think for Yaoi it's worse, personally.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like it's very dehumanizing in Yaoi. Like right down to the point where like they are basically archetypes the characters have to fit into. And again, not all the Yaoi, but again, it's debatable. I do think a lot of and there's some works. I had a hard time getting into Citrus, for example.
Citrus is a weird one. I didn't get into it. So
people love that
I know
one.
people like to recommend Citrus for the meme, but like there's better ones out there even outside of a meme recommendation.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, there's nothing like I want to make it clear in terms of like, you know, differences between lesbian works and works that fetishize lesbian. Again, I don't care if the works have spice. Like one of my favorite, one ongoing Yuri manga that I genuinely like is Asumi-chan is interested in lesbian brothels. And I like that one because yes, it's spicy, but there is character to it. There is a story there. There's development. I like it. To be cliche, I read it for the plot.
Yes, the plot. Yes.
Absolutely for the plot, Lizzie. What exactly about the plot do you like about it so much?
Yes, Lizzie. Tell us about the plot of the...
It says so in the title. Fuck you.
There you go. All right. Let's let some super chats play real quick, then we'll keep going.
The chats. I'm getting roasted in the chat. Shit.
Yeah, you are. Do
At
tell
DB-Do5L super chatted $20. Now that it is over, I can recommend Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Yes.
One of the best comics of this generation. Had everything I could ever want in a comic. Anyway, thanks Ant for all your videos and dedication to the craft.
I appreciate it greatly. Yeah, read Absolute Martian Manhunter. It's freaking wild. It's crazy. That
At Racer45 super chatted $5. The Smudcast had already made a reaction to this video and it was not very good.
Does he mean the same Smudcast who thought I was cousins with Noralities? That one? Yeah, I bet. The problem is this. That's the thing too, which is so stupid. A lot of these reactionaries, they just react to like the concepts at play and they don't actually know what they're talking about. Like, I'm sure when they reacted to this, they were like, but what about insert one series that was the one exception to what you're saying, even though she's talking in generals and not like every single specific example. You know what I mean? It's like ridiculous.
Right. It also, to go back to the cousins thing, I always find it funny when people dislike an opinion so much that they assume anyone who shares it has to be the same person.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
For example, so I got into hot water a few months back for a certain opinion I had about an adult animated show that was running and recently got canceled by the creators. So
yep, I know what you're talking about. It's an Adult Swim cartoon. Yeah.
Right. And another person, another trans creator shared similar opinions of like the joke in the show as I did. And I'm not going to say her name because I don't want people harassing her, but there were people who assumed that she and I were the same person because we were both trans women who thought the show was transphobic. So
it's almost like multiple people can be offended by the same joke and like have the same reaction. It's crazy. That fandom has cooled off a bit though since that show stopped running, which I'm kind of happy about because it was getting a little intense.
Yeah.
That fandom was scaring me a little bit. Anyway, back to this. Back to queerbaiting.
Queerbaiting is a marketing technique used to hint at the inclusion of gay elements without actually committing to anything substantial.
Trope.
This allows writers to draw in queer audiences who are totally starved for mainstream representation without alienating conservative viewers. Writers may create enough textual evidence for a queer reading, but never anything explicit enough where the series can't maintain plausible deniability, and that won't totally fly over the heads of people who aren't as tuned into queer signals. For example, there's no way that I could possibly interpret Mint from the 2000 series Tokyo Mew Mew as anything other than a lesbian with a crush on her teammate Zakuro due to scenes like these.
Yeah.
石のミューズのようなシルエット。これぞまさしくザクロお姉様ですわ。私はザクロお姉様と一緒にいられればそれだけで幸せですわ。好きだったのに。大好きだったのに。
Which altogether seems like pretty substantial evidence of a romantic interest, and if they were a straight couple, this wouldn't even be up for debate. But just because I know in my heart that there's no heterosexual explanation for this, doesn't mean that the creators intended to write it that way. And one can make the argument that Mint isn't in love with Zakuro, she just idolizes her. This is how we get scenes that seem for all intents and purposes like an obvious declaration of love, yet are just ambiguous enough that they can somehow also be interpreted as just gals being pals. Couple that with the fact that the target demographic for magical girls is aimed at children and teens, and it crosses over into the homophobic idea that queer couples are inappropriate to show to children, because they are somehow inherently more sexual than straight characters doing exactly the same thing in the same shows. Which, from what I have gathered, might be the current state of the Madoka Magica series. Madoka Magica was a 2011...
Okay, brace yourselves. It's time for Madoka Discourse.
Oh boy! Strap in, folks!
It's amazing how even 4 years later, this discourse is still relevant and still in the same place for the most part. Not much has changed.
It's because the franchise has not moved past fucking Rebellion, and we're only just now. We're just 2 months away. We're 2 months away from finally getting past 2013. Christ!
But you know it's not going to change anything substantially. Even then, you know it's not going to change discourse.
Maybe I can have hope. I can have hope, Ant.
Hope is the only thing I can have in this world. Discussions again. We're not moving past this discourse. It's always going to be the same discourse.
I'm not saying shit.
Here we go. Here we go. Bracing myself.
Brace yourselves, everyone.
Event Magical Girl Subversion, and the series is now currently ongoing through several film installations. You can skip ahead like a minute if you don't want spoilers for the end of the anime and Rebellion. In one of the last episodes, it is revealed that fellow magical girl Homura is actually a time traveler and originally became a magical girl because she was saved by Madoka in an alternate timeline. And ever since then, she's been stuck in a time loop, reliving the same traumatizing events over and over again. Get up? Attempt to save Madoka by changing the future. Watch Madoka die. Repeat. Get up. Attempt to save Madoka by changing the future. Watch Madoka die. Repeat. We don't know exactly how long she's been doing this, but considering how much it's changed her, we can infer that it's been a while. And at this point, Homura is so worn down that saving specifically Madoka has become her only motivation to keep going. Any attempts to save her fellow magical girls are only because of how they relate back to Madoka. At the end, the only reason Madoka is able to become a god is because Homura made her the linchpin of all these alternate timelines because she kept rewinding time to save her. The consequences for Madoka becoming a god means that she's no longer even human, and no one, not even her family, can remember her, except for Homura. The existence of Madoka Kaname as we knew her may be gone, but because of her, magical girls will no longer turn into monstrous witches that kill people if they lose hope and give into despair. And all things considered, everyone more or less accepted this as the happiest ending we could get from such a dark series.
Yeah.
Or at least we thought it was, until the 2013 film, appropriately named Rebellion, directly continued the anime's storyline. In a shocking twist, the film ended with Homura overthrowing Madoka. Homura forcibly rips away Madoka's godhood and ends up taking it for herself. And in doing so, this turns her into the actual devil. So that was like a lot for the last 10 minutes of that film. Homura goes on to explain that her reason for doing this was because of her feelings for Madoka. A feeling that no one else in this world could possibly understand. Love. In a small poll of about 2,000 people on Best Yuri Anime from 1989 to 2019, Madoka Magica was ranked at number 1 at 231 votes, beating out Revolutionary Girl Utena by a scanty 30 votes. So it's generally agreed that Madoka Magica is pretty gay. Except that it might not be.
Yeah.
In an interview with the head writer, Gen Urabuchi, when asked outright, is Homura in love with Madoka, his response was, probably. And when prodded further with a follow-up question, why did you choose to portray a homosexual love? He went on to clarify that, I don't think it is that special. A really strong friendship turns into a love-like relationship without the sexual attraction in your case.
That's right.
They're just good friends.
Damn it.
What does that mean? Homer uses
Okay, pause.
God damn it.
Go away.
Every time I do, it's under the sapphic umbrella, which generally includes women loving women, bi women, trans women.
Sorry.
Ending we could get from such a
I went to Screwfills by accident.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Here we go. We're back.
Okay, so, to the point, I get what Noralities is saying here. I get the confusion. But here's the thing. It's never really actually confirmed if the way that Homura feels about Madoka is an actual romantic sort of love and not some kind of one-sided obsession. There is a very clear line between romance and obsession, and both of them come underneath the love umbrella. Homura can still love Madoka, want to save her, and still do what she did because she doesn't love her romantically. She is fucking obsessed with her in an unhealthy way. And even in the world that Madoka ascends to godhood and manages to save all of the magical girls, Homura is fucking depressed as shit because of the fact that the one person that she was trying to save and continue on living, she can't even do that because she ascended to godhood. And in her twisted mind, the only way that she feels that she can save Madoka at that point, or at least the idea of what she thinks Madoka Kaname is to stop her being a god, become the antithesis of what Madoka is, and then keep her in this world that she has created, where the god Madoka and devil is sort of a to keep Madoka Kaname, the person, the ideal that Homura thinks of her as, in this limbo state eternally because it's what she wants. She's not even thinking about what Madoka wants in this situation because she's so fucking obsessed with her.
Yes, you see, the thing there is people forget that the writer wrote horror stories before doing fucking Madoka. Like, Madoka is Faustian. It's not really a romantic series. And that's one thing I always found very strange about the fandom for Madoka, is that the way a lot of them ship Madoka and Homura, it's like, oh, it's romantic love, but no, it's obsessive and destructive.
It is not. In another lifetime, yes, maybe, but in what we actually get to see on screen, it's not romantic at all. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now, could it also? Now, I think I have an issue with him saying, "Oh, they're like very they're like friends, basically." Like that. That's where I get like the issue. But it's like, I think the division there is it sapphic or is it destructively obsessive?
It's destructively obsessive, but here's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Urobuchi is technically correct. They, in any timeline, a lot of people seem to take the context as though, like, oh, Homura and Madoka, like, they should be, given how many timelines they've gone through together, they should know each other that romantically. Madoka doesn't know that shit. In every timeline, the only one who knows about what's going on is Homura, and she is the one who is constantly just so obsessive and shit about it. It's totally one-sided. It's no wonder he frames it that way, because that is the only way that in what we see in every subsequent timeline, they know each other for like a month at least, and then the world goes to shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing too that's so complex and so interesting. It is very much, how do you frame that in discussion? And fans tend to be very hyper-focused on the ship they like. But it's not like Sailor Moon, it's not like other Yuri, where it's like a healthy relationship that develops mutually. This is just Homura. Madoka doesn't even have like a particular interest in
She does not have agents. She doesn't have she barely knows who Homura is throughout most of the timelines, to be honest. And she doesn't really have that much agency until the very end, where she simply decides, yes, I actually do want to become a magical girl at the end of it. And that one decision is the thing that essentially changes everything, because of everything that Homura did leading up to it.
Yeah. Also, chat's mentioning, Sayaka and Kyoko are way more likely to have like. Yeah, they have way more mutual.
Thank you, chat, so much. Y'all know ball. Y'all know ball. Y'all are representing the actual best Yuri relationship in Madoka.
Yeah, easily the best, 100%. But okay, let's keep going with this, because we can get stuck on this for a while otherwise.
I have been waiting for this follow-up film to Rebellion. Walpurgis is not
do not apologize at all.
No, don't apologize whatsoever. Wait, here we go.
Almost a decade. I don't even know where to begin with
Still
this.
Waiting.
Is Urobuchi just trolling and being vague on purpose? Is this a reference to Class S literature from the 1930s, a kind of proto-Yuri that specifically portrayed lesbian attachments as a platonic phase that one would naturally grow out of after graduating from school? Is this a translation issue because the original question was asked in German? English has a lot of different words and umbrella terms like queer and gay and sapphic that encompass a lot of different specific orientations and identities other than the clinical definition of homosexual. But a lot of Japan's words for gay people are English loanwords, including the term for lesbian. But the perceptions of lesbians in Japan are unfortunately associated with the hypersexual depictions in Yuri. So maybe it's because the word being used is homosexual. That could possibly explain Urobuchi's hedging response and why he felt the need to clarify that their relationship wasn't sexual. But in a 1996 interview with Naoko Takiguchi from an Italian magazine, which, I will be clear, I don't have a credible source for, the magazine does exist and Sailor Moon is on the cover, but I can't verify its contents other than like one person's blog post. But I'm using this example because, allegedly, Takiguchi uses extremely similar wording to Urobuchi, but in her case she clarifies that it is special and it is a homosexual love instead of countering it. So, I don't know. Is this the difference in attitudes towards Yuri culture being a new thing in the 90s versus Yuri culture in 2013, which has these connotations of being hypersexual? Is this just straight up queerbaiting? It feels like queerbaiting. But then, with that in mind, if we look back at this list of sapphic magical girl anime from the 2000s and 2010s, a lot of them could be interpreted as just bosom buddies because it's just plausible enough.
I feel like magical
the only
aura
two entries
is the
on
odd
this
one
list
out
that
there.
are 100% confirmed gay are Flip Flappers and Yuri Kuma Arashi, which, you guessed it, is directed by my man Kunihiko Ikuhara and is literally a critique of the depictions of both predatory lesbians and the tropes established by Class S literature. This is why explicit queer representation is so important, and why token representation, like the myriad of Disney's first gay characters, are so incredibly frustrating for gay people. Because, unlike straight characters, where all you have to do is show them looking deeply into each other's eyes for a few seconds to convince the audience that they're in love, queer characters are stuck in this realm of plausible deniability until explicitly shown otherwise. Like, I can pick up on the queer subtext in Luca from a mile away because I'm already tuned into it and I'm starving for representation, but some people will never see it unless it's stated very clearly. And if the representation is so insignificant it can be edited out of the story without losing anything, well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's so insignificant it doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying there's no room for nuance and subtle writing.
I, for one, love the shade against Rise of Skywalker in this video.
I do too. I do too. Look, you could say it's old hat by now, but I think in regards to the lesbian shit, I think ragging on Rise of Skywalker for that will never go out of style, personally.
And the thing is, like, people are always like, oh no, it's woke. I'm like, is it? Is it though? What? I mean, I mean, listen, if two lesbians kissing in Rise of Skywalker breaks you, you are made of tissue paper. Wet tissue paper, I might add.
In gay romances, but if you don't include it explicitly, you're leaving the door open for people to say that it isn't there at all. But, alright, remember what happened with Sailor Moon? Sailor Moon wouldn't be classified as Yuri from a Western perspective, but it has been claimed by Yuri fans because it had enough substantial lesbian themes that it resonated with them. And coming at it from that perspective, if there is enough of a queer reading on Madoka Magica, and trust me, there is, the last episode has them tenderly embracing while naked in space, it's not exactly subtle. Then, authorial intent or not, it can still be a Yuri work if it has been claimed by the Yuri community. And, oh boy, has it. So, if this is a case of Schrodinger's gay, and the most concrete answer to a character being gay from the Word of God is probably, then it is equally plausible to say that they are definitely gay until explicitly proven otherwise. I don't know, it feels really disingenuous to praise Madoka Magica as being one of the best Yuri works of the century when the authors are still hedging about whether or not it's even actually gay.
Well, look at Witch from Mercury, which came out after the video dropped, you know? They explicitly have, like, a marriage, basically, at the end, and it's like, well, they're just good friends, really.
Listen, a good Yuri series can be appreciated by the audience, even if the creators are a little bit touch and go about it. To be completely honest, here, it doesn't discredit the fact that it's got some really good like Yuri characters within it, even if the actual main pairing everyone points to isn't explicitly the one that is the healthiest in that sense, or even the one that is the most overt in that regard. But the fact that, I'm going to be completely honest here, the fact that this is in 2019, I'm not surprised that it outranked Revolutionary Girl Utada. I'm pretty sure if you did that same ranking today, Utada would be miles ahead of Madoka.
Probably.
I don't know if I agree with that. Because you got to keep in mind, this is the Japanese polling.
True.
I think Madoka has more staying power in mainstream Japan than Utada does. All right, I'm going to let some Super Chats play, because I also want to thank someone for joining as a member real quick as well.
At Lupin the Maelstrom Super Chatted $10. Maybe, likely, I'm just stupid, but I struggle to find more good Achillean ships than Sapphic. Still dealing with dissonance of how Ma Superman portrays Livewire and Heatwave versus Mala and Brain.
Yes, agreed. They have a great couple of queer relationships in that one. And thank you so much, Nine-Tailed Nine-tailed Lilligant, as a reader. You can absolutely be adding a link to the Discord afterwards, so even if you're only for a month, you can still
At
join Discord.
000 Agent 88 super chatted $2. So mommy gets left out in the cold?
Yes, mommy gets left out in the cold. One could say she bit off more than she could chew in this video. And
At Black Rabbit Studios 11 super chatted $4.99. Hey, just got here. You gonna see her zero vid? I'm still kicking myself over getting mad, and then feeling bad that it wasn't a great review.
We might be watching her 1,000-Year Lolly video, a bit of it anyway. I do want to get to the good stuff here first to illustrate it, but boo this man. Yeah, you're
boo this man.
Your cheers saying that mean nothing to me. I know it makes you okay.
Boo!
Let's wrap this up. It is funny, I think so.
Like, y'all understand why that sucks, right? Right now, the series is currently still ongoing, so who knows? It might turn out alright. But it's just a lot of talk about gal pals from the head writer for me to be very hopeful. I know it probably seems silly to be this worked up about whether two fictional characters are in love or not, but for better or worse, like Uranus and Neptune, Homura and Monika's relationship is probably going to affect the way that the rest of sapphic romances are portrayed in magical girl anime for a while. Because this franchise has already significantly altered the landscape of the magical girl genre entirely.
Okay, was not a fan of this one.
Never saw it.
Magical Spec Ops
Magical Girl site. It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Okay.
Very fetishy.
Nina Morales actually goes a bit more in depth into this issue in their article, The Metamorphosis of the Magical Girl Genre, and explains in detail that while the genre was mostly feminist and female empowerment driven, since Madoka Magica's success, a lot of series being produced have been more or less a jaunty exercise in misery and suffering for their female characters. And thank God someone else took the time to put it into words, because I knew I hadn't been vibing with a lot of new magical girl anime, but I couldn't put my finger on why. So whether the series continues to treat Madoka and Homura as the ambiguously gay duo, or decides to own its queer themes with pride, for now, only time will tell. While anime has sort of failed to live up to the expectations set by the previous generation, recently, there's been a huge surge in Western magical girl media made by people who either grew up on or were influenced by Sailor Moon and Revolutionary Girl Utena, such as Steven Universe, She-Ra, and The Owl House. And they are, shockingly, very gay and monumentally important for LGBT representation, and overall have been much more progressive than anything similar being produced in Japan.
Let's go!
So that's the current state of gay magical girl.
And then they stopped making shows like this shortly after this video came out. I know. I had to ruin it somehow. But it's true. They did. They stopped making shows like this shortly after this video came out.
In a mainstream way, anyway.
Yeah, it was all independent now.
And how it happened. Sailor Moon did it, if not first, the loudest and with the most shockwaves, and ended up having a major influence on both the magical girl and yuri genre. Because Sailor Moon was something that I grew up with, its existence was something that I kind of just always took for granted. Like, I knew that it was a big deal, but I definitely lacked the context as to why it was. So, yeah, I just think that's neat. And if you've actually made it all the way through this video, wow, thanks. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm absolutely sure that there's stuff I missed or wasn't able to get around to, but if the goal of these videos were to be a totally comprehensive experience, they would never end, and I need to sleep right now. These essay-type videos require a lot more research and editing and just way more time put into them. And because of the support of my absolutely amazing patrons, I'm able to put the extra time I need into these videos and get them up to a standard that not only I'm pleased with, but I also think that you'll enjoy. So I'd like to give a big thank you to my patrons.
And then she stopped making videos for 4 years.
Okay, I'm going to give you my honest thoughts on this video. Are you ready?
Go for it.
This is the best video you've shown me on one of these streams, Ant, and it ain't even a contest.
I know, it's not even close. It's not even close,
That said, I did have some issues with it. I feel like it lost focus once or twice throughout the whole thing. Like there was a couple times where I kind of forgot this was supposed to be this was a video primarily about Magical Girl anime.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few just minor factual errors here and there. Like her script could have been like looked over a couple more times before recording, but honestly, even when I disagreed, I thought the points she was making were interesting, so I didn't dislike my time watching this.
No, yeah. And I do agree, like, if factual errors unfortunately do happen sometimes when you make, like, regular videos online. Unfortunately,
right.
In hindsight's 2020. But I agree with you otherwise, yeah.
But now I need to ask a big question.
Mm-hmm.
This is the controversial shit y'all have been... What?
Yeah, no, this was... Okay, so Lizzie... What if I told you this channel was more controversial than some of the Lee Orchard stuff?
What the shit?
Yeah.
Like, this was tame. Like, even the stuff I disagreed with, I was just like, okay, I kind of disagree with you on that, but whatever. You're not saying anything egregiously incorrect here. So
yeah. So we have a little bit more time. So I'm going to show you the really controversial video, and everyone in chat as well.
Oh boy.
But first, we're going to the bathroom real quick. So
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit first.
Yeah. Oh God. I was going to say I need to use the bathroom, but I don't want to leave Chloe alone to entertain the audience. That would be not good.
All right, Chloe.
Not because I don't have faith in you, but because I don't want to put pressure on any single person to entertain an audience for multiple minutes.
I'm putting pressure on you. We have full confidence in you. I'll be right back. Good luck.
No,
Chloe,
I'm gonna wait till Ant gets back, and then I will use the bathroom.
Valid decision.
Okay.
I hope it all works out.
We're taking turns.
Right back.
I appreciate you not leaving me by myself. It's appreciated, Lizzie.
I try to be nice to people when I can.
It's good. But yeah, like, this is probably, like, this is the thing with Noralities. A lot of the videos that the comment that you made about her, like, losing track in the middle of the video, unfortunately, that's kind of one of the biggest issues with Noralities, like, older videos, is that, like, she has a pretty good point going on there, and then she deviates into a topic that could have really been its own video, and by the middle point.
And here's the thing, that's not even a problem exclusive to her. There's plenty of video essayists and other folks who make videos about stuff they like that also kind of fall into the same trap. It just happens. Sometimes you just talk onto another point and don't even realize that you're kind of moving away from the central point of your video. But here's the thing. That's fine. I don't think that's an egregious problem, and it didn't really bother me until I thought about it. Even when I thought about it, I wouldn't say it bothered me. I was more like, okay, like, you can have criticisms. You can have criticisms with this video. Like, I certainly did, but like, I don't really like.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the things that people were really hating on Noralities for were the two videos that are back-to-back, the Lolly Dragons video and the I'm Worried About Cancel Culture video, which ironically, I did the problematic media and how to deal with it video with Edge the first time we did stuff on Noralities, and it was actually a sequel video to the Lolly Dragons video that we're about to watch. So I'm going this in reverse order.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I do want to, I'm looking at the videos like currently on Ant's screen. I might watch that Sailor Moon Crystal video because I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, the space opera one is really good. And also the bee and puppy cat video is also really good as well.
I am back.
All right, I will now depart for my restroom break.
Okay, I'm in now. I'm plugged in.
Okay. Yeah, I was just talking with Lizzie about the fact that we did the problematic media video first, and then because of the fact that it's a sequel to the Lolly Dragons video, we've technically done these out of order.
We have done all of it out of order, and I love it. It's great.
It's amazing, honestly. It is amazing, honestly. And it's just like, I'm kind of glad that we saved like the more controversial video that's like under 20 minutes for last, and did the 30-minute video we actually liked doing the first time around. And I'm just like, yes, thank fuck.
And also, like, let's be honest, the problematic media one, when you're talking about fucking Kenshin, like, it's not easy to talk about that series. Because Kenshin, and this might be controversial, it's like talking about Sandman, right?
Yep.
legitimately a great series. Legitimately well written, well told, well illustrated. The creator just sucks. Is what it comes down to. Like, but none of the faults of the creator change the fact the work itself is so good. It's like when you go back, if you go back and watch, like, say, Rosemary's Baby, which I have to do for a script I'm working on. Like, absolutely fantastic script. Fantastic movie. But the creator's an asshole. Like, he's
I
just
have returned.
Oh, you've returned? Excellent. So let me just play Super Chats real quick rather than say what I was talking about.
At 000 Agent 88 super chatted $5. I genuinely wonder what she thinks of Magilumiere Magical Girls Inc.
That's a good question, actually. I don't think she would have liked it.
At Color Theory EB super chatted $5. The reason why Disney doesn't care about Luca even during release was that they didn't advertise the first queer couple.
Yeah, they didn't. They avoided mentioning that with Luca completely.
At Black Rabbit Studios 11 super chatted $4.99. I blame the growing chudstinction burst for representative shows fell off.
That and Trump, I'd say.
Execs make it clear they don't want the stink of non-traversy, plus just old white guys.
Well, look with Supergirl, how they overreacted. They were being ridiculous there, too.
At Lupin the Maelstrom super chatted $10. To clarify, I can still name sapphic characters and couples until the cows come home. Achillean characters and ships, I can only count on one hand, maybe two? Again, maybe my media diet is just limited.
I can name some more of those, but it's like they are fewer in number in terms of good ships or ships outside of distinctly yaoi BL shows, you know? Like, that's the one issue. There are many, though. There are several.
Absolutely.
But there's a difference between whether it's teased versus whether it's explicit. Anyway, so let's dive into the 1,000-year-old Lolly Dragons, which is clearly focused on another sapphic series, that being Dragon Maid.
Oh boy.
So, and mind you, this was a year before the one we just saw.
Okay.
Content warning, mentions and discussions of sexualization of children, pedophilia, and child pornography. If any of these topics are upsetting to you, you may just want to sit this one out.
Such an uplifting
I wanted to like Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. It's a wholesome romance between a monster and human, and an openly queer romance at that, which ends up exploring the nature of found families, which, as I discussed in my last video, is one of my favorite types of story in media. For context, I have seen the first season of Kobayashi's Dragon Maid a couple of years ago. This was back when I still naively listened to AniTuber recommendations, and I wanted to see a cute, lighthearted gay romance between a dragon maid and her tired, cynical crush. I was delighted when Toru made a point to state that her attraction to Kobayashi is romantic and sexual, completely destroying any possibility of queerbaiting. But the more I watched, and the more the story strayed from Toru and Kobayashi, the increasingly less delighted I became. Until finally episode 6 happened, and one of the children pins down another child, and I had to ask myself, how did I get here? Dragon Maid recently came under fire when the new season was announced and this character dropped, and everybody lost their minds. There were a ton of different gut reactions, from her design is terrible to Ililu did nothing wrong and I stand Ililu, and her character is great to her design is pedophilic. There were people trying to redesign her and fix her. With everyone on Twitter being vocally opinionated about what is a very sensitive issue, it made me realize that maybe they didn't know what they were talking about or what coding even means and how it applies to character design. For context, I am an artist. Hey, hi, hello, I'm Noralities. Welcome to my TED Talk. I really hope this isn't your first video you're seeing of mine, because I usually try to stay in my lane and avoid meaningless discourse.
Oh,
But
don't
I
worry,
went
it's
to a
my
fine art
second.
school where I learned and studied anatomy, and I have a degree in illustration. So when it comes to art and character design, believe me when I say I know what I'm talking about. I may end up over-explaining myself, but I'm just going to try to break this down as thoroughly as I can from an art perspective.
Pause for a second.
So
I think
really,
I
this is
know.
less of a-
Yep.
Why do I have a feeling that Chud zeroed in the "I know what I'm talking about" line, as kind of
you're
mocking?
right about that. You're entirely right.
How did I fucking call it?
So by presenting her, and now mind you, she also did a video previously, I think, on ReZero, where she got some details wrong about ReZero because she was talking from a very superficial perspective on it. She didn't like ReZero. But so they would kind of go like, oh, so you know what you're talking about here, but you don't know what you're talking about there. You know, kind of use that as like a gotcha against her to kind of discredit everything she was saying. Which, you know, and again, like the thing she's talking about is coding specifically. So a lot of people were kind of going like, oh, you're having to prove your credentials. Oh, you're being snobbish in this situation. And it's like, what she's doing is presenting her credentials to show she's talking about this one subject she knows about specifically.
I was going to say, we can't fucking win. If you don't show your credentials, suddenly you're an ignorant ass who doesn't know what you're talking about. But when you do show your credentials, you're smug and horrible. Like,
exactly.
We can't win, y'all. Exactly. We can't fucking win.
There's almost no point trying to fight it. That's the problem. Like, it's such a no-win scenario. There's no point even trying to win, in my opinion. Because you guys just can go in circles. In my opinion, you just kind of got to present what you got anyway and hope people listen or they don't listen. And if they don't listen, then fuck them. You know, I really have incorporated that mentality more and more. If you don't agree with me, okay. You know, if you get mad at me, okay, fuck it, whatever, who cares? And I think it's important to have that kind of mental defense, you know, that kind of like, okay, fuck you if you don't care. Because otherwise you get bombarded by people who clearly can tell you do care and pick at that sensitivity. You know what I mean?
So I had a crazy what if thought in my head, and I need to explain some context for this. So my abusive ex was massively in the ReZero fandom. And now I'm thinking, oh God, was she part of the group attacking this person? Because that'd be wild if that happened. I wouldn't like if that happened because holy shit, you really. But like,
there were people who some people hated these videos. Like there was ironically, because I just saw him in my feed this weekend for some fucking reason. Fucking Jar went after her too. Was one of the people. Was one of the main people who went after her.
Of course,
so you had the ACC people. You had the right-wing anime fandom. You had all these different groups all targeting her for different reasons, and it fucking sucks. It really fucking sucks. And especially as a creator, as I've gotten, had a bigger platform, and obviously had some kerfuffles with people here and there. You know, you get the sense of like, well, okay, for some very public, I might add, you get a sense of like, okay, well, if you don't like what I do, cool. You know, if I can make an interesting video about it, I'll do that. But that's the extent of it. Like, people have such an obsessive need to respond to any topic. And ultimately, they're just chasing you. You know what I mean? They're chasing the person who's talking. Because they got nothing else. They really have nothing else. And that's all it ultimately comes down to. They get so obsessive and so angry and so obnoxious. And it really just sucks because I don't know. I feel bad because it's like having seen the crap I've gone through and other people I know who've gone through similar shit for like pretty innocuous videos.
Right.
The level of hate she got was ridiculous and deeply unfair. And Lizzie, you can back me up on that too.
Just speaking from personal experience, like it's just easy to get hate over just a simple opinion. Like I said, like I talked about one earlier, I trended on Twitter over that opinion.
Yep.
Like this got trending. It shouldn't have, but it happened. Like
it's ridiculous.
Like there was no reason my silly little opinion about a show everyone loved and was going to ignore me and watch anyway, which is totally fine, was going to like needed to trend on Twitter, especially when I'm not on the fucking site. Like
that's the craziest thing. It's when you're not even there. And the thing about Twitter that's so funny is that Twitter is a very small social media website by comparison. People think it's big, but even at its height, it really wasn't that big. And now the site's mostly bots. So, like, how big really is it? You know, how many humans are actually on that website?
Right.
Not as many as you
Not a lot.
Also, I have another question regarding Chud's response to this video. Did they give her art shit? Like, did they criticize her art at all? Like,
of course they did. Do you want to see one?
Okay.
I can show you a response to her.
No,
if you really want.
no. I just asked because I'm gonna balance it out. I think her art looks great. Honestly.
Yeah, her art's fantastic, and you can clearly see. Oh, and by the way, the art in her Sleeping Beauty video is better than this. Better.
Oh,
like I think
should watch it.
I think her Magical Girl video has. You can see the art style improve from video to video. Her most recent one here. In fact, I'll just show you we won't watch the whole thing, but I'll show you real quickly what I'm talking about here. If it loads, because my computer is slow as shit when I stream.
Understandable.
Come on, really? Oh, it's taking too long. Anyway, so my computer is slow as shit now. It's streaming, so now it's not going to work out. I'll come to it later. It's fine.
I'll probably watch it for myself at some point. So
yeah, computers are slow. Some scuff. Oh well, no big deal. But anyway, so let's keep going because I will get sidetracked otherwise. But you get the gist of it.
A hot take and more of an explanation behind what is a long-running problem. What is coding? Coding is a term used in media to refer to when an author wants to convey an aspect of a character to the audience, but does not want to or maybe isn't allowed to explicitly state what that aspect is. And sometimes the character may not even literally be the thing that they are being coded as. For instance, Renaissance-era Disney villains were often designed and behaved in a way that read to the audience as queer-coded. Scar is effeminate and willowy, Jafar wears eyeliner, Ursula was literally based off of a drag queen. At the time, the character designers were using this coding to illustrate that there was something inherently deviant about these characters because of the way they contrasted to the designs of the cis, het, young, and beautiful ideal of the protagonists. But this decision sort of backfired and ended up making queer audiences really sympathetic and into the villains who are overall fun and a bit campy.
Absolutely.
And I think one thing I will point out here is that this wasn't entirely unintentional. Because especially with Ursula, the decision to base her off of Divine was from Howard Ashman, who was himself a gay man dying of AIDS, I think, at the time.
I'd argue it's also what makes a lot of Renaissance Disney villains so memorable, is because they have these fun, flamboyant...
Oh, 100%.
In a room. If you get me in a room to watch The Lion King, I am going to shout Yas Queen at the top of my lungs when Scar's singing Be Prepared.
And I think also,
no shame.
I think also with Disney villains specifically, it's interesting because there was queer coding in villains long before Disney did it. The Maltese Falcon's a great example of that. North by Northwest is a great example of that. And you can see when a director drew queer coding because they were homophobic, like with Hitchcock, versus how Howard Ashman did it in Disney. There is a distinction there. If you compare North by Northwest to Ursula, The Little Mermaid, you can tell the difference in how it was done. And I think that's more complexity of a greater scale. And that's discussing the nuances of a concept. Like Noralities is just talking about this in general terms.
Right. Like this is kind of a take where I'm a bit iffy on, but again, it's not the main point of the video, so I'll let it go. Like
I think Jessie Gender once called it like a load-bearing point. And I've kind of internalized it ever since she said that. Like if it's an idea like a load-bearing point, is it like, if you argue it, is it actually going to break the thesis of the statement? No, it's not. So it's not. It's only worth nitpicking in small doses as opposed to like heavy duty. Anyway, back to this.
Goes to the hyper masculine and feminine leads. And this is the thing that you have to understand about coding. All coding is not inherently bad. It really depends on why the author is choosing to code a character and what that coding is meant to convey. When a corporation like Disney consistently codes characters as a marginalized...
I think because all the rocks, all the gems are like technically not gendered at all. Among
very fair.
Also racial coding too. They are in fact stones. They are not, they are not black. They are gems.
Right.
They manifest how they want to appear.
Group like people of color or the LGBT community in order to specifically convey to the audience that they are evil, that is obviously not a good thing, which is why context and framing is so important.
One mistake I think she makes here is to conflate the interests of the company and the interests of the individual artists. That's where things...
Right.
But again, this is nuance. This isn't necessarily, oh, you're entirely right or entirely wrong. It's more the nuance of the story. And she's also not wrong. It is weird when you other people to make them villainous. But again, it's a complicated topic and it's not so simple. These are nuanced arguments that I think in her older videos, she made more of these issues, whereas she kept making videos, she got better at not making these, which is why I wanted to show a later video before showing an older one. The flaws of her older stuff are more apparent when you see her doing a better job at this thing later on.
Right. I was going to say, this is an older video, and the mistakes I'm noticing she makes is like, I've seen like your first time video essay.
I've made these mistakes.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. These are common mistakes. Like, I'm sure once I get to making videos again, I'm sure I'm going to make the same mistakes. So we'll see what happens. Like,
and considering like I just got into a massive like back and forth argument with another creator over like not talking about how creepy artists to improve over time, I think it's relevant there too. Like, people act like everything is made in a vacuum. Like, oh, the one thing you make is an encapsulation of where you will always be. But no, people get better at shit, you know, in general. Especially artistic achievements like this. Anyway, back to this.
Child coding. Like queer coding, child coding isn't inherently problematic. It just depends on how it's used. Like, Baby Yoda is child coded. This robot is child coded. Koroks and Kodama are also child coded. Child coding just means that a character has design elements that make them read to the audience as childlike, even when they may not be children in a technical sense.
I got a nitpick here. Sorry, she brought up Zelda. I got a nitpick here. Koroks are literally children. They're descended from the Kokiri, whose defining feature is that they are eternally children. So it's not even child coding. They are just children. Like,
so here's the thing. I don't think either of you contradict each other in that statement, because you're talking about what the character actually is, and she's talking about the design of the character, which are two separate things.
Okay, fair. Fair. I just got a nitpick because Zelda's my hyperfixation. So.
No, I hear you, and you're right, and you are correct.
Gotta get that out of her system.
No, I hear that. I mean, and you're right, but like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, when what's so easy to do online in a discussion is two people say two correct things, and neither of them contradict the other one. But I think it's interesting too how that works out.
But again, it's a nitpick. It is me nitpicking using my own knowledge of a franchise that I have been a fan of since I knew what a video game was. So
exactly, which is expected, you know. Anyway,
dude being small,
and you're not being hyperbolic about it, which is me.
No, I'm not gonna say. I'm not going. Oh, you got the Koroks wrong. The video's ruined forever. No,
but you know someone did that. You know someone did that, which is the thing.
No, I know, absolutely. And look, guys, I can get petty about someone getting Zelda facts wrong. I have clicked off entire videos when someone got like the smallest thing wrong. I am that petty when it comes to this franchise, but even this isn't making me lose it because, again, it's not the point of the video.
Yeah, no, exactly. Anyway, back to this.
Having big eyes, being naive or possibly nonverbal. And when it comes to discussing child coding and how people throw the term around, we end up running into some problems with exactly what it does and does not apply to, because short women also exist. Take, for instance, La Brava, a small-time villain from My Hero Academia who is a short adult woman. Her design has elements that can potentially read as child-coded. She's short, her head is big, and her eyes are placed lower down on her face. And I think the creators may have been aware of that possibility and made a few deliberate design choices to mitigate that reading. Like, La Brava is short, but she's curvy. And not just her chest, her waist to hips ratio is that of an adult. She fits in with Hero Academia's style of cartoony, exaggerated silhouettes. Her voice actor is an adult who uses her normal speaking voice.
Ugh, this is so frustrating!
Whatever do you mean, dear girl?
I love these two.
The JSTOR video should be racking up views, but it's barely being watched. People on the internet have no taste.
Her Japanese voice actor is a bit higher pitched, but only in the way that Japanese women tend to speak in a higher register, and not because she's deliberately trying to sound younger. La Brava is romantically involved with Gentle, but again, in the text they are both explicitly consenting adults, and if you think that short and tall people can't be together, you may want to take a moment to check yourself.
Yeah.
But even if you read La Brava as child-coded, it's not really an issue because her character isn't sexualized. This is what I mean when I say that child coding is...
Also, her character doesn't act like in a childlike way either, which is a key difference as well.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I freaking love Gentle Criminal and La Brava, and I think they're great. So I'm just throwing that one out there. I think it's a really underrated couple of characters. Just putting it out there. That whole scene was like, when the anime was debuting that season, I was writing articles about it on CBR, and I was like, oh, so much emotion. Anyway, back to this.
Isn't inherently a problem, but it becomes one when the characters are not explicitly adults and are also being sexualized.
Also, like on the topic of like tall and short, like I am tall, my spouse is much shorter than me, so that is a factor.
Same with me and my girlfriend. Like I am tall, they are short. So
exactly. So it's like that's a thing I can connect to as well. And it's like always like, oh yeah, that's a factor. One of us
all of
always
my partners are taller than me.
There you go. Like everyone, if you go to the bar, one person always gets carded every fucking time.
See, that's the thing. I don't get carded. It's just that they are all distinctly taller than me, and I'm into that.
That's, you know what though?
Oh,
valid.
Which brings...
I don't think if La Brava was sexy, it would be evil. I think it's more. I'm seeing stars in the chat. I think it's more like. What do we even try? I don't even think that would be a topic. I think La Brava is a fully grown adult. It's fine. I don't think anyone needs too much.
Yeah.
Like despite her being short, she's still clearly an adult. Like
yeah. That being said, though, I find it funny how she's not in any of the doujin that people make. It is something I find funny.
To the impetus for this video and how this all applies to Dragon Maid. So in the case of Dragon Maid, like putting Ilulu aside, like we're not even going to get to her yet. We have to address that Kana is designed to be a child and is also sexualized. Now, right out of the gate, some people will try to argue that she's not technically a child because she's a dragon, and they age differently, and she's really like 1,000. But even by dragon standards, she is still a child. Toru and Kobayashi act as her adopted paternal figures. She goes to elementary school and is in the 3rd grade. On her trivia page, it states that her human appearance mimics that of an 8 or 9-year-old. She is referred to as a child in the text multiple times, and she's also wearing thigh highs. I don't even know how to explain this, but thigh highs are a sexually charged piece of clothing in a way that stockings or knee socks just are not. Apparently, there is even a Japanese term that refers to the gap between the skirt and thigh highs that was popularized due to anime and moe subculture. If she were just wearing socks or even stockings, this wouldn't be a problem if the framing didn't also sexualize her. I'm going to very quickly show some of the clips of how the framing sexualizes Kana, and here's the timestamp to skip it if you just can't deal with that today. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where we go.
Oh dear.
I'm just gonna let this play out.
Oh dear. Okay, for context, I've never seen this anime, so...
You've never seen Dragon Maid?
No, I have not. So.
Chloe, you've seen Dragon Maid, right?
Yes, I have seen both seasons of Dragon Maid.
Yeah, so none of this is going to be shocking to either of us. This is just going to be...
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, oh dear.
Yeah, no. This is like familiar territory for both of us. We're both like, yeah.
I'm just kind of numb to it at this point.
This happens a lot. It's just like, okay, at a certain point, I'll let it play out. You know, I'll save my reactions and commentary to the end.
Oh dear.
Yep. Yep.
Oh dear.
Yep.
Oh. No.
The fucking burning trash.
Okay, that's a funny edit. Oh dear.
Kana is not even child coded. She in the text is literally a child. But is Ililu child?
Okay, so Lizzie, what were your thoughts on Dragon Maid?
You can't see my face, but I'm just giving like 1,000-yard stare right now. Like, not even like an angry stare, more like a broken stare.
Oh my god!
I am a broken woman. This has broken me. I am judging harshly my life choices that led me to this moment in my life.
Yeah, like, and the thing is, like, there are levels in which you can react to it. Some people react to two young girls having like puppy love. They see it, and that's their perspective. That's fine. Some people see it as like inappropriate. That's their perspective. I just feel like it makes no sense given the narrative, because the narrative is about two adult women living together, you know,
right?
Raising a girl together. It's like, even from the perspective of what the story is supposed to center on, as a narrative itself, you kind of go like, well, why is this here? What is the value here? Because the rest of the show around it is sexualized. Yes, the characters do get into awkward situations. Yes. But I would say that these characters are the ones who are in the most often sexualized perspective. So you're like, if the show is a slice of life romance between a human office worker and a dragon, and it's two girls, and that's the thing, then why are we conflating that with this? That's why I get like, why is this here? Like, on all else.
Okay. Let's continue.
It's like
my brain has snapped in two at this point. This is which you know what? Compared to the other streams I've been on, it taking like nearly 3 hours for me for my brain to break. That's you know what? This was a good run. I enjoyed my sanity.
But now we're gonna flush that sanity down the toilet because it's just gonna get worse from here.
Yeah.
Because now we gotta talk about this jumps to fuck. So here's the thing: a lot of people watch the first season of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid with all that in it when we're like, okay, you know what? We can sort out the anime bullshit. You know, there's some anime bullshit here, but the stuff we like is still really good. And so people were like, I mean, myself included, I was like, okay, you know, that stuff was weird, but the good stuff was still really good. And I want to see more of that really good stuff. Maybe this was growing pains. And then this happens. And you're like, no, actually it wasn't. Actually, it is growing pains, but in the other direction. The stuff I liked was the stuff that was going to be pushed aside.
Yeah.
And that stuff I liked was the adults being in a human relationship. And nope.
Coded. Another misunderstanding, or in air quotes, counter argument that seemed to crop up a lot around this discussion is what childlike facial proportions mean and how that applies to anime
where most characters are already stylized to have larger eyes and heads. A simple way to design a character to appear as older or younger is to measure how many heads tall they are. Note that most people are not going to be 8 heads tall, like this guy here is a 1/4 inch short of 7 feet tall. How many heads tall you are is going to vary from person to person depending on your height. For instance, I'm 5'4", and if I measure the length of my head, I'm roughly only 6.3 heads high, which proportionally ends up putting me in the 10-year-old boy category, which is frankly not very surprising. If we proportionally scale up the child to match the adult's height, you can see that the head of the child is twice the size of the adult proportionally.
Run from the giant baby.
If we resize their heads to be the same size, we can see that the child's facial features are much lower down than the adult's.
Yeah.
So when I see people argue that Dragon Maid is just in the classic anime moe style and everyone is chibified and cute and that there's no difference between Kana and Toru, I can agree that it is hard to see the difference because it is stylized. But there is a difference if you are actually willing to look at and take the time to compare them. Measuring them by how many heads tall they are, we can see that Toru is just under 6 heads, which seems about right for the average Japanese woman. Meanwhile, Kana is only 4.5 heads tall, which gives her the proportions of a 2-year-old. I don't know what you were expecting at this point, frankly. Let's compare her facial proportions. If I select this image of Kana and overlay her on top of Toru, and when I resize her head to account for the perspective and have the chin line up in the same place, you can see that Kana's eyes are significantly lower down. Her face shape is round and less defined, which is a feature that signifies that she is a child because she was designed to look like a child.
So the heads point, I think, is a stronger point. The multi-heads, like how many heads tall they are.
Right.
But at the same time, this isn't the strongest argument.
It really isn't.
It really isn't.
I feel like she's taking what's honestly a pretty simple argument and overcomplicating it is the problem, because I don't think you even need to use the head shit to say that this character is drawn like a child.
Yeah. And the problem is Dragon Maid is so hyper stylized that it just isn't as strong an argument. It just isn't. Right. Is the problem. Because even though it is using factual data, it is a little bit of a stretch that actually is redundant because the first point already made the point for her. You don't really need to make the art point saying, hey, this character is called a child, referred to as a child, looks like a child in text.
Right. I think using just the evidence from the show's dialogue was enough. I don't think you need the head stuff. Like, yes, it's like I said, it's overcomplicating the argument, I feel like, which again, I don't think makes this bad per se, but it does make it feel overstuffed.
And the problem is when you add these components that can be taken apart, the people who don't agree with you will point just to that. That's the big issue too. If you are creating an argument that someone is going to, is controversial, it's usually best to have as few points made as possible to focus in on the stuff you're very confident in. Because if it's not buttoned up all the way on another point, that's what they're going to focus on. Not the point that matters, but the point that they can take apart. And then they're going to make that the only argument. Yeah.
All that said, it is still not worth giving her shit for this video because it's a small issue. It's a small issue that doesn't really mean a whole lot at the end of the day. It's just, again, and again, it's a common issue I see with especially first-time video essayists where they kind of overcomplicate a point. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to. And again, it is tempting to say a lot. It is always tempting. I mean, even when this stream was saying a lot, but it is better not to overcomplicate a simple idea. Agreed. All right, let's keep going because it's almost done. Actually, it's a much shorter video.
And
so
if we do the same for Ilulu, we can see that she's proportionally the same as Kana. And if we overlay her on top of Toru, we can see that her face shape is a little bit more defined than Kana, which would make sense considering that she's supposed to be a bit older than her. But her eyes are just as low down. And the thing is, they even unbabyified her a bit from the manga. And listen, I tried this with La Brava, and yeah, she's not even 4 heads tall. But again, La Brava is in the text inarguably an adult character with an adult's voice and manner.
See, that's why the argument doesn't work. Even her own argument saying, here's the stronger evidence, you know? This whole head thing is not necessary.
Right. There's kind of a lot of contradictions within this thing. And again, it's not a bad video. I get her point, and I agree with her points, like her larger point here, but it's also just getting overstuffed and overcomplicated. Again, it doesn't make it bad. It's just there's issues. So
it's a weakness is what it is. Yeah, it's a vulnerability. Right. It's a chink in the what's the word? It's a crack in the armor. Is that the word I'm looking for? I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is.
I think so. Yeah, crack in the armor.
Crack in the armor. Here we go. Anyway.
While Kana and Ililu are not, and they talk like children.
いつものジェントルなら見つかった時点で逃げていた。私と一緒に歩いてくれた。S は主覧の S。小林飲むと酒癖。悪くてマジヤバくね。
いや悪口。どうもすみません。ところで君は誰？
私の名前はイブル。なぜ来たかはまだ秘密。
Pink in the armor. Thank you so much. I wasn't sure what the word was. I'm so sorry.
And again, Ililu is supposed to be visually 16 anyway, so I don't know what the argument is here, y'all. She is still depicted as a minor. Like, everybody understands how dog years work. I don't understand how we keep coming back to the 10,000-year-old dragon well. It does not matter that Baby Yoda is 50 years old, because for his species, he is a baby. Their lifespan is different. Did Ililu start the problem? No, I think she just brought light to a problem that was already apparent in Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. From the beginning, Dragon Maid has always had unrealistic female body proportions, but up until now, it has only ever been depicted on characters that weren't minors. So I think this was the nail in the coffin for a lot of people. Here, someone even tried to fix Ililu by flattening her chest, but this does not even fix the problem because it is these other design elements that code her as a child, and she is still in thigh highs and her underwear. Coding can
also for a 16-year-old, the design is really wonky.
Yeah,
it's just because I think back to another character who's 16 is Sailor Moon at the end of Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So why is she drawn so differently? It feels weird. But there are characters who are that kind of those childlike features who are older, like in Azumanga for example. I would say that has more childlike features with the main cast. And the eyes are definitely lower down than some of the adults.
Yeah.
But Chio-chan is distinctly younger than everyone else around her.
Right.
Yeah. But again, the voice acting is weird because it's I don't know. I do feel I don't know. Yeah, Jotaro is also 16. Yeah, Jotaro is also 16. That's also true.
For many reasons, but historically it has been used when you want to depict something that may be socially frowned upon or even illegal, and you would get in trouble if it were explicitly in the text. And I do have to wonder if the dragon angle and giving Ililu such a large chest was one of the ways the author tried to sidestep the child coding accusations. It is the pattern of all these things in Dragon Maid that is upsetting. Even if it doesn't happen that often, it's the pattern of Rika's eyes rolling back when she touches Kana, Shota being consistently flustered by Lukoa, the sunscreen section, the compromising framing of Kana, and now Ililu's design. It all starts adding up. Closing thoughts. Do I think everybody who watches Dragon Maid is automatically a child predator? No, I don't, and neither should you. That kind of single-minded ideology is inherently flawed. Vast blanket statements like that are just not true. And the thing is, I get it. I get why some people want to defend Dragon Maid like parts of it are legitimately good. When the focus is only on Kobayashi and Toru and their found family dynamic with Kana, there's a lot I genuinely like. And I was willing to put up with some stuff that made me uncomfortable because there still aren't a lot of canonically queer romances, and definitely not ones with this level of sakuga.
People can watch media that is problematic critically, and just because they watched it or liked some aspects of it does not inherently make them problematic in the same way, because that is not how humans work, and no media is perfect. But at the same time, you can't turn around and say that the people who are upset about the design of a child being sexualized are being too sensitive because they just don't get anime. As an audience and as creators, we have to ask ourselves, what message is a piece of work sending out into the world? And how are people going to respond to it? And if your story invites predators in and makes a space where they might feel validated,
that's the big issue right
maybe
there.
you should assess yourself and consider making some changes. So with that being said, I don't think I'm going to partake in season 2 of Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Yeah, probably not best.
And also to everyone watching this who managed to get this far, this is not an excuse to go out and dox people on Twitter over their opinion on an anime. Like, please do not dox anyone, not just because doxing is horrible in and of itself, but when you try and attack people who engage in fictional media that depicts sensitive topics like abuse or pedophilia, you are minimizing the problem of actual real-world abuse and pedophilia. Which is why I'm not even really that upset about Ilulu, but it's easier to explain some of these problems in the context around her design and not the things that I can't even address because they are infinitely more upsetting. Like, there are still people out there making lengthy video essays about Rurouni Kenshin and how it's a masterpiece, when in 2017 the author was charged for the possession of child pornography and confessed to being attracted to 10 to 15-year-old girls.
Yep.
And he wasn't fired. And he was allowed to keep publishing his manga because it makes money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't ignore that. And I can't make a video explaining why that is a bad thing because it is so obviously a bad thing that no one in their right mind would try to defend it. And
she would later go on to make a 40-minute video exactly about that.
She would then go on to make a video about Rurouni Kenshin, exactly.
Oh boy.
While knowing what he's done, you are supporting his actions in at least a small way.
At least one of those creators who she schooled by is like a chud, though, like a real racist chud.
I'm not surprised at all.
At least one. But I digress. Most are fine, but there you go.
Okay. So this video wasn't great, but I didn't object to the overall point. It was fine.
Yeah.
Like, again, a bit bloated, but good. Like,
yeah, exactly. That was her most controversial one. That was the one that got like massive amounts of hate against her. And it's really upsetting and sad. Especially like given, so the ReZero one, it was ReZero before or afterwards, actually. Was that before? Okay, I guess it's, it's somewhere. I don't know where the ReZero, it's as the ReZero one right here, yeah. So between that and this one, it got her a lot of pushback, unfairly so, I'd argue. By comparison, I just want to show you how her art style's improved since then, real quickly.
Oh, okay.
Oh. That was a good nap. I feel like I slept for a really long time, though. How long was I out? Oh. Whoops.
Also, much better mic quality as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. The videos got a lot better. Unfortunately, she's been kind of radio silent for the last year again, so maybe she's working on something again. But
we'll have to see.
We'll see, yeah. By the way, Noralities, if you're online and you want to stream, let me know.
Heck yeah.
No, yeah. But yeah, no, that's Noralities in a nutshell right there. We didn't have much to cover. It wasn't a super in-depth stream, and it's more relaxed than usual. But yeah, and I feel like it's interesting going back to this and kind of going like, wow, media discourse has really shifted negatively,
Absolutely.
Because like we don't get creators really doing these kind of videos anymore or getting attention for it. A lot of creators tend to be more like jumping on to whatever the new trending topic is and being aggressively negative or reductive. And even where it's like I'm babbling. I'm not sure I'm making sense.
Real quick, I'll be right back. I'll just be a minute.
No problem. While you're gone, let's get some super chats playing real quick.
At Pandamani super chatted $10. Have to go play D&D, but thanks for all the content and your dedication to your craft.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
At Lupin the Maelstrom super chatted $2. Fearful face, my soul needs a shower after that.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, that's accurate.
At 000 Agent 88 super chatted $5. Do we think any of the defensiveness of Dragon Maid could be tied to what happened to KyoAni and the director of the first season?
Unlikely. I think a lot of it had to do with the character
I
designs.
don't think so.
At Color Theory EB super chatted $5. To give her the benefit of the doubt, this was a difficult topic to do justice. Even if you're doing it rationally and calmly.
It's very hard. It's not an easy topic to talk about.
It really is.
Because you want to be fair and you want to be, cohesive and
I have returned.
Oh, glorious.
Welcome
We're
back.
saying it's not an easy topic to discuss in general, this whole thing.
Right.
It's tough. So yeah, and even then, I'll go quickly right here because we're almost done with the stream, but a lot of videos from a lot of the same people racked up a lot of views, kind of just going up against her. Again, and this is all years ago. Oh, here's us. Here's us again.
Oh, there we are. There we are. That's the first time we talked about her.
Hey, there I am. Hey, Gary, look, there I am.
And now I'm here.
Exactly. So it's like a lot of these are, just a lot. And it's tricky. It's very tricky.
And again, the thing about both these videos is again, even when I disagreed with some of what was being said, they were minor points at best. And it wasn't, and it's not worth it's not worth all this. It's not worth this huge response. And it never is. It never fucking is the thing.
Exactly. And it's 100 videos about it. It's come on, we don't need that. When there's so much worse. And keep in mind, at the same time, just to draw a comparison here, at the same time this video is popping off, Lily Orchard was doing her biggest videos. Not to drag Lily Orchard into everything I do, because I really don't like talking about her all that much. But in the hierarchy of shitty people to respond to on the internet, it's no comparison. And while that's going on, you got the Quartering doing some of his most extreme stuff. We are so gung-ho to attack people who we disagree with, or maybe accidentally said something that wasn't completely thorough, that we ignore the obvious people who are doing some real heinous shit. Meanwhile, what we end up doing is just discouraging people from taking chances on the internet. People misspeak, they fuck up how they phrase things, occasionally. People who are genuinely upset about that will try to do better. Any apology anyone makes online is cheap, but improving is vital. And improvement is obvious here. But that's the problem, isn't it? It's you kind of look at this and you go, well, how do we improve? And I want to think most people who responded to her back in the day, in hindsight, realized, hey, this was shitty of us to do and moved and grew up as people. I want to believe that. Some didn't, but I think most kind of got out of their hyper-reactionary phase as they got older. But the problem is the internet is very reactive to people in general.
Absolutely.
Especially now. Especially with TikTok, I'd argue.
Right. Again, it's kind of funny just seeing this because, again, I had a very, I had an issue with one joke in one show. And I still don't hear the end of it. It is amazing how people will turn something as inconsequential as someone's opinion on not even a show as a whole, just a small scene in a show,
Exactly.
And turn it into something it didn't need to, rather than just disagreeing and moving on with their lives.
No, 100%. It's sad. Oh, actually, I think one of her videos was taken down. Her Kiki's Delivery Service video. Because Ghibli doesn't fuck around with copyright. Really, you don't. Again, listen. This is why I don't do a Ghibli video. You don't fuck around,
Chloe. When we do that Ghibli ranking, we're gonna have to come up with some ways to get around that shit.
Stills.
Oh, I've already got an idea about how to do it. Still images from the things that we're talking about.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no, I don't do Ghibli for that reason. They don't fuck around with copyright. They are scary. Again, if I would not be surprised if every Ghibli video on here gets like taken down, because Jesus, they don't fuck around.
Chloe, someone suggested do bad drawings. It would be funny.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm tempted to just ask Krim to draw like every Ghibli movie for a video and just be like, here's my sketch. Krim, draw something for the
Krim, I think we might need to have to get your. I think we might need to have to actually commission you to do that.
I'm debating it. I'm debating it at some point, but because Ghibli is like does not screw around, man. They
do not.
Scary. They are scary when it comes to copyright. But yeah, no, that's the whole retrospective there, and June's almost over, and it's almost Pride Month for Americans, the 4th of July.
It's funny because I live in San Diego, and a lot of the Pride events take place in July, so Pride Month still continues over here. So.
There you go. But yeah, no, that was a very simple stream, nothing too heavy duty. I wanted to be more refreshing because I feel like after this weekend, film discourse was so exhausting, and it made you kind of question, like, what's even the point of talking about things at a certain point? I saw, I was tagged in this. Movie Bob put out a video this weekend, controversial figure, I know, about why he felt video essays had fallen off. And it's very Movie Bob-esque, where he kind of goes, into like, well, all these problems boil down to these political issues, and that's why all these video essays are kind of failing, because they all fall back on the same political issues. Where I'm like, okay, if you make political video essays, yeah, that would be a problem, that movie specifically. And I kind of was feeling my connection to that was a lot of video essays and reactionary commentaries. They're the same message repeatedly, just in different configurations. Not because necessarily people can't come up with a different answer. It's that they don't want to. And they don't want to because the algorithm isn't rewarded as much. Because reactionary anger is more valuable. And it's always, is this woke? Is this not woke? Is this gay? Is this not gay? It's the same 5 points in media discussion, and not really what was the creator trying to do and what they try to accomplish and what got their way out creatively. And I feel like a lot of this discourse online has boiled down to whether or not the light switch is on or the light switch is off, and not how does the light switch send a signal to the light bulb to turn on. Does that make any sense? I'm not sure if I'm articulating that clearly.
No, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And I feel like we need more video essays like what Noralities was doing, where she would analyze them. Even if it wasn't the best argument, she's still actually breaking down the mechanics of the story in some capacity. We need more of that than we need of like fucking critical drinker bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like pointing at something and going, how bad is this, huh? Or highlighting one line of dialogue and going like, this is the whole show in miniature. It's like, come on, what are we doing here? Let's actually talk about like the media, let's talk about the entertainment, the quality of storytelling, the metrics, the mechanics of it, and not just simply, oh, it's good or bad, or it's the worst thing ever, and it's terrible, and I hate it, and this is the sign that media and Hollywood is going down. Like, just fucking talk about the movies, Let's not talk about these political, and I mean political not necessarily in that the politics, I mean that the movies themselves are now tools of the greater political point you're trying to push. And usually it's right-wing people doing this, not really left-wing creators as much. Left-wing creators are still doing this, but the mostly right-wing creators who are like pushing these culture war points. And like, I often point out how absurd it all is. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm making a point or not. I'm just going on a tangent.
It's all good. This is unscripted. So.
Exactly. I'm probably going to say tomorrow, like, oh, you stupid motherfucker. You said this stupid thing right now. But it's like, in general, I don't know. Anyway, on that note, I think we're going to wrap things up. I know, Chloe, you got places to be, and I got things to do. And Lizzie probably has something going on. It's early on. Oh.
Maybe. We'll figure it out. Oh, we'll figure it out when we cross that bridge.
At Racerk45 super chatted $2. I wish people be less synthetic man and more ant.
Oh, God, synthetic man. That's a whole cornucopia. Lizzie, have you... Chloe, from your reaction, you know about him. Lizzie, do you know what synthetic man?
Nope.
Oh, man.
You're better off.
You're better off, but I'll give you the elevator pitch for never watching Synthetic Man ever. Imagine the red pill guys, right? Those red pills back in the day.
Oh, Jesus.
Now imagine the black pills. The black pill guys who were like, they took the red pill so extreme they went black pilled. He's 4 steps beyond that.
At Nick Wolf 3885 super chatted $2. I like to think authenticity will have its day.
I think authenticity is what draws people genuinely to some people, and others it's just the rage. But again, who knows? The algorithm is unfortunately draws heavily on anger, so it's hard to really say. What are you gonna do? Yes, the Dead Man is a real person and is not Jar. Yeah, that was the other shock. It's not Jar, shockingly. All right, then. Any last salutations or farewells from you two?
Thank you for bringing me onto a stream where watching the video didn't destroy my brain until that montage.
There you go.
So, there you go.
It was intentionally destroying your brain that time. It was by design, not accidentally, which is usually how it works.
Yeah.
I will say real quick, if y'all want me to talk about other queer stuff that has been coming out more recently, I brought up Go For It Nakamura. I'm going to be releasing a video on my thoughts on the recently done season of anime for spring that just wrapped up. I'm going to try and get that video done by the end of the week. And I talk about Go For It Nakamura-kun, and I also talk about Botan coming up fully blossomed when drunk. And I feel like those two are some of the best like queer stuff that we've gotten lately. Like we're getting a lot of queer stuff in terms of anime this year. We're getting 2 Yuri animes this upcoming season, and I cannot wait to discuss about them. But if you want to hear me gush about quite possibly one of the best Yuri animes of this year so far, check that video when it comes out later on this week. I am aiming to get it out by either end of this week or the beginning of next week, whichever one happens.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And this Friday, it's not done yet, it's still in the works. We have a video about America. Celebrating the 250th anniversary to find which superhero best embodies the ideas of America. And spoiler alert, my answer is not Captain America or Superman, who, shockingly, do not embody the current version of America we're currently living in all that much. Can you imagine that?
Fair enough.
The Punisher is mentioned in the video, though, quite frequently.
Oh boy, let's go.
Anyway,
I guess for upcoming stuff on my channel, currently working on a few things, just trying to get them out, especially with the channel being reformatted. But I am streaming a bit more. In fact, tomorrow I will be streaming more of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, specifically with the Linkle mod, because it makes everything gay.
Hell yeah, Linkle's great. And I am dragging a lot of people into it, at least. I also want to say this right now. I'm starting work on 2 large videos that will hopefully be out this month. Both of them, hopefully. For better or worse, I've kind of drafted both of you into one of them.
Yay!
So we'll see how that goes.
Cannot wait for that.
Yeah, well, I already sent you some stuff. So anyway, thank you everyone so much. I will see you all next time. I'm going to let the outro music play. I'm not going to do that, actually. I'm just going to stop the stream. Bye, y'all. All right. Wait, where's this off button?